hope George Wells wins so we don't see the tape.
Yeah.
You don't know how wrestling works, look.
Hello, and welcome back to the only wrestling podcast that exclusively rebooks, reviews, and reimagines the worst of wrestling's past. We are Better Call Creative, and as ever, I am joined to my left by Mr. C, Sam Chance.
Hello.
Do you pity the fool?
Oh.
And Jack the Refrigerator Chance. To my right.
The fridge freezer.
Hello.
And I'm your host, Ben Chance, and we are on...
The walking condom.
Is that mine?
The
walking condiment.
Well, it's condominium, but that's what Jack calls it. The walking condiment.
Ketchup.
And if that doesn't give you an idea, we are on the road to WrestleMania. It is Wrestlemania, the sequel. WrestleMania 2.
WrestleMania 2 Electric Boogaloo.
I'll throw to you first, Sam. Have you enjoyed 1986 wrestling?
It was an hard watch, but it was long, but it was fairly easy because you know how crap it was.
You just said it was hard and then easy in the same sentence.
It was both.
It was that kind of mania, I think.
Yeah.
Jack?
I enjoyed it.
I thought you
did.
might.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, you just sit at home watching crap wrestling all the time.
All the time. I choose to do this.
But yes, we are heading back to 1986, April the 7th, to be precise.
It was a Monday, wasn't it?
It was a Monday, the only WrestleMania ever held on a Monday.
Yeah, Raw. It was like, well, we had 3 hour Raw and have that. Do that for
And
3 locations.
it is the only WrestleMania that's ever been held at 3 different places, and we'll get to our thoughts on that later on. But do you want to know what was number 1 in the UK? Definitely the UK with this number 1 on April the 7th.
Boob 10 rats.
Spandau Ballet.
No, it featured a comedy show as in the...
Is it Ernie?
Nope, it was...
Oh, was it the chicken song?
No, it was Cliff Richard and the Young Ones.
Oh, because it would have been...
Living Doll.
Was it Comic Relief that started it?
I thought Comic Relief normally... Oh, no, it is normally at the start of the year, so it could have been.
Well,
And it would have been around 86. Number 1 in the US was Rock Me Amadeus. Amadeus, and top in the box office was Police Academy 3, so they were 1 in front of WrestleMania at this point.
Right, that's what they was going in for.
I wonder which one's going to last the longest.
Well, I think I'm on about Police Academy 47 at the moment. On the Sega release was Wonder Boy. We played Wonder Boy.
What boy
Is that what you have to do? You have to do rock, paper, scissors, don't you, on Wonder Boy? What is that?
Alex Kidd.
Oh, Alex Kidd.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I've ever played Wonder Boy,
You've heard it.
but I have heard of Wonder Boy.
Maybe that's what Jack Black was singing about the game.
They're always killing yaks in that.
That's what it is.
Anyone want to have a hazard a guess of who was on the cover of the WWF magazine?
Well, there's only one. Is it Mr. T?
It isn't.
Is it Hogan?
It's Jesse Ventura in his Stevie Wonder wig.
It was like Predator all running back.
Well, I think he left not long after this for a brief
this
time.
This show was when he was going to unionise.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I think he just left or something.
Show was when he was going to unionise. He got together with Elmer and...
Yeah, because he said... I don't know if it was this show or the build-up, because he said everything was out, they'd done all the promotion. So obviously then they could say, we're not going to go on unless we get Union. And then Hogan went, oh, brother.
Yeah.
Elbow went, no, brother. I can't get a job anywhere else. Leave the stay with me.
I don't know if he'd been Union, he'd have been protected. I don't care if he's incompetent.
Speaking of Uncle Elmer, and we will speak about him a lot, in the build-up, he fought Jesse Ventura on all the house shows, Lou.
What?
Kept winning by DQ.
What was his name on the NWA? I was trying to think of this, because he had some other name. Playboy Frazier. That's him.
Hold on, he was in the NWA as well?
Yeah.
And the Fed picked him up?
Yep.
Look at this, he was like 50, wasn't he?
There's money in him.
Yep.
Definitely money in him.
You've got one that's good, you don't need another
I
one.
thought he was injured at this point, but then I saw him later on in the show. I thought,
This
why is he
turned into
not in a singles match?
Turn into the Uncle Elmer podcast.
I just loved when he turned up. I absolutely loved it. But
with a dub.
oh yeah, that is terrible, isn't it? Was it Country Boy?
Yeah, because you could slightly hear it when Bundy was talking.
Anytime the commentary cuts in, you can hear it going.
I mean, they only had 3 themes all the way through the show, really, and they summed over one. The World of Sport, West Bromwich Albion.
We weren't very good at this point, were we?
No.
So you get relegated
Yes.
from Division 1.
We got
relegated. You had very few points, didn't you?
This is the season where we only won 4 games, and 2 of them was against Birmingham.
Don't tell me you beat Birmingham.
No, we drew with Nottingham Forest.
Well, that is a bad point.
But we did finish bottom.
Yeah, well,
I think Shrewsbury finished above you.
Did they?
I think so. Oh, it was a...
Well, this is the year that Liverpool did the double. So, on their way to winning the FA Cup, they beat Southampton in the semi-finals.
Oh.
So it was the semi-finals weekend. I don't know where it was played.
We was
Hope it
probably
was Hillsborough. Might have been, though, because Liverpool would have been... They tended to play at Hillsborough.
Or Villa Park or something. So I know they always used to have the same 4 stadiums for the for the service. Usually Villa Park, Hillsborough, Old Trafford, or I forgot the other one.
Anfield.
No.
Highbury.
Could be Highbury. That was it. Yeah, Arsenal.
So there you go. The world's done now. Finished. But Jack, I'm hoping, I haven't checked with you, but I'm hoping we have a WrestleMania poll.
We do. It's only 3 albums this time.
Ooh.
Because what I've done is chosen an album from an
each
artist
area.
from New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles.
Is
all
one of
from
them
1986.
Frank
And
Sinatra?
No, they all
New
released
York,
in
New York.
1986. And just choose Frank.
I don't know, anything to shoehorn that New York
So-
song that you only know the one line for.
Your first choice is from Los Angeles. It is Van Halen with 5150. Your second choice is from New York, which is True Colours by Cyndi Lauper.
Yeah.
Because I have to tell you, Rita, I mean, she's there.
Well,
But
she-
But she was in the
one year before.
She was in the one the year before.
She put WrestleMania on the map.
She did, if it was for
Her and Lou Albano.
Yeah, her and Mario, how about that? And then the last one is from Chicago. It is Chicago 18 by Chicago.
Yeah, there you go.
They had one. I went through all their discography, and there's like Chicago, Chicago 3, Chicago 4, Chicago 5, blah, blah, blah. But then all of a sudden, there's like one that's just like Hot Street, and then Chicago 11. Chicago. Like, what's going on there? Why did you change the run?
Have you picked Chicago? What is it? Chicago 18
18.
for any other
It's
reason?
in 1986.
Oh, it's specific.
Yeah. It'd have to be in 1986.
Because I only know like 2 Chicago songs.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that album.
Well, vote for it. You can join in with us. So you can head over to our Twitter page now, which is at BCCPod. Give us a vote there. And the reviews themselves are housed on our website, which is bettercallcreative.com. Right, where are we heading first? We're going to New York, and in a very 80s style package to open WrestleMania. We head to the Nassau Coliseum, and Vince McMahon welcomes us to WrestleMania, and it is a sign of the times because Vince is quite thin on the ground with announcers because he is being co-host with Susan St. James. We'll get to Susan St. James as the show goes on, but singing America the Beautiful is Ray Charles.
the beautiful. Won't you please welcome the great Rita!
Quite a good version, to be fair, already.
I just like how Vince introduced.
Ray Charles! Damn it, pal! I think Ray Charles really shat himself. In Ray Charles's head, Vince must be like 9 foot tall with devil horns. Who is this man? Yes. But he sings a version of it now. We've got to build up to the most American thing throughout all of this. So, we get pictures of army men, uniform, American. Franklin Delano, FDR, Martin Luther King, mountains, a person who looks like Timmy Mallet, a guy lassoing a horse, and it ends with the most American thing of all, Hulk Hogan.
Oh, ends with the Hulk stuff.
Yeah, I love that.
America.
He asked even FDR jobs to bloody Hogan. Amazing. Mean Gene is then introduced in what looks suspiciously like a green screen in Chicago. He doesn't really say anything other than to say, I'm in Chicago.
We're in Chicago. Back to you,
We're going to watch it on the telly for an hour.
And we see our main event for New York being G'd up in the back. It's Roddy Piper getting ready for the epic boxing match that we have coming up.
Out there today, this is the best prospect known. He's trained diligently. He's in real good shape. Heavyweights, one punch and it's all over. Tonight, he's in shape and he's going to do his job. Right, Roddy?
I'm cute. I grew my hair long. That way, during the fight tonight, you can tell the difference between me and T. I figured some of you folks out there may get a little confused. I have got the absolute best coach in the entire world to train me. I've been down with Biggs training, with Spinks training. He went and got Smoking Joe Frazier in his corner. Are you ribbing me? He threw a medicine ball at my belly. Didn't move an inch. I'm down to 219 pounds in 30 minutes. You see, talk's cheap. So you say, Roddy, well, you're sitting there talking. I say this to you. I say, if Mr. T can knock me out in this fight right here, I would not only quit professional boxing, I would quit and retire professional wrestling, I would quit tiddlywinks, I would quit dating girls. I'd stick with you. I would quit it all. I right now say, if he can knock me out, I retire, and I'm going to stick my head out there round after round after round and put it out there because as pretty as it is, he's going to shoot some punches. I'm going to be moving like that, just like Coach taught me. You're going to shoot some more, I'm going to be moving like that. And another thing, you know, Mr. T, I know you're a smart aleck, you come out with the kill, but let me tell you something. Never will I shave my hair like an Indian and paint myself black.
Right. He says he grew his hair so people will know the difference between him and Mr. T. And then he hypes Joe Frazier being in Mr. T's corner. Piper then says if he gets knocked out tonight, he'll retire from both boxing and wrestling and tiddlywinks and girls. And then
he goes, well, I still go with you, Bob.
Yeah. And then he gets a little bit racist, saying he'll never shave his head like an Indian and paint himself black.
We'll see you in 1995.
Yeah, I think you will, mate. Ooh. That's not aged well, has it?
No,
the bit that did make me laugh was Susie said, I'm not going to paint myself black straight away. But you kind of did, Spike.
Is he saying that Mr. T isn't black? Is that the point?
I think that's what he's saying. Yeah. He paints himself black. He's not actually black.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. We should leave this story alone.
Yeah, I don't think they liked each other in real life.
Though, no, they hate each other.
No,
I like the line where he said he's going to grow his hair so you can tell the difference. That made me laugh.
But we are heading to our epic Get the Crowd Hot main first match, our starter for 10.
Brilliant.
It is the magnificent, and he is magnificent, Don Morocco, who looks suspiciously the same as he did in 1993's ECW, versus Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, who has done a face turn since being in the main event
of the first
WrestleMania. He is now out.
Is that the biggest drop?
And by sort of June, July, he's heel again, isn't he? Doesn't he turn on Hogan?
Yeah, he turns on Hogan because they have that big run.
Yeah,
and he goes to the cage because he was actually going to fight Hogan at 3.
Yeah.
Initially,
I was going to say that was the big feud for the year.
Andre instead.
Was he on 3?
Orndorff.
Or did he have? He never had the surgery, did he?
No, he never did. I think he might have done. He probably had some throwaway match, probably against Junkyard Dog or something like that.
We'll get to you, dog. So yes, we immediately. For some reason,
that's all right.
For some reason, the match opens up in such a strange way where they're both sort of feeling each other out. We hear interviews from each man without seeing them.
Yeah. You can tell Vince at this point probably going ape.
What is going on?
Now let's throw to the pre-recorded messages for these, and then you can just see him still walking about, and it comes on. I've started laughing then.
It's terrible.
Dear.
And
the production.
They're not even that good.
No, it's just a blur.
They don't really say anything. No, either men. So anyway, Vince is manning the booth alone, I thought, at the initial start of the match. There's a big back body drop by Orndorff. Susan St. James comes in with a catchphrase that we'll get used to a lot, which is, uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Oh, God.
Oh, Jesus.
It just sounds like it should be on Abe.
Uh-oh. Just that button. Everyone. Triangle, circle. Uh-oh.
That's what Vince would have done, pulled the lever.
Vince would have been, get him. What a manoeuvre and get him. That would have been it. So, she says Orndorff is definitely winning. So, we know now. Susan's told us. Orndorff works on the arm of Big Don as Vince points out how sweaty Big Don is. Vince tells us that this is their first ever matchup against each other, which there's every chance, because I think it's
got it back then. People fought jobbers instead of each other every week.
Big Samoan drop by Morocco finally stops the armbar, and Orndorff battles out of the corner. They trade punches before trying to fall over the top rope together.
Is this at the point, because I'm sure one of them, I don't know if it's Vince or Susan, said something about one of them using Chinese techniques. What? In the match?
I didn't hear that. Yeah. I'll splice it in if that happened.
Because I have made a note of it. I was like, Chinese technique? Well, Fuji Japanese.
Yeah, they're all the same. All the same over there.
He probably, if Morocco was on top or something, so he's using Chinese techniques or something.
Well, he looks like he's using some ancient Chinese techniques.
I can't remember Morocco being on top, to be honest.
Maybe he clubbed once.
Chinese, that is. She's on the Chinese club. Orndorff's leg getting caught in the ropes. Not his greatest moment.
Not his worst either.
And the quickest count out I've ever seen as the ref just goes, whatever.
Yeah. Do that. This is the only time you hear a bullshit.
I made a note of that. So Orndorff has a yellow folding chair, and the crowd legitimately chant bullshit in 1986.
But I like the New York, brother. But as well, then we don't know what the decision is. The next match comes in. We got to get the decision yet. Well, the match is over.
Wrestlemania.
Well, that's what I like. Vince wants the official announcement, but we see George Steele in the ring. I mean, and then so we're sent to Mr. T, which I'll get to in a minute. Whew. Whew. Jesus Christ. When we do the Wrestle Cup of WrestleMania openers, Jesus.
Well, when we did the first Wrestle Cup, WrestleMania 2 didn't have any matches, did it?
Well, it could have had at least 4 on this show, definitely, but Sam...
At the top... Oh God, it was slow. Not like Orndorff.
Slow, it was 4 minutes. I mean, 4 minutes 10. You said it was slow.
It was slow. That was like moving in slow motion. The bullshit finish. I mean, you want to start to get the crowd hot. Not that kind of hot.
Pissed. They know as well. They've only got 4 matches before the big screen comes. I mean, imagine being in this, and we know what we get for the next 3.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, you look at New York and you think, this is your main market, and you give them these.
Well, not only that New York was the highest attendance, 14,700. So we got more than the other 2. And well, we'll discuss each card as we go along. But, Jack. Paul Orndorff, Don Morocco.
Yeah, it was bad. It should have been good because you've got 2 of your biggest stars at that point, and then they obviously don't want to lose either of them, so it results in a very quick, awful schmoz that ends in a double count out, which is stupid.
I think there's an element of, whilst Don Morocco might be in his prime, maybe just slightly after his prime, there's certain people that you know ain't going to be in the next phase of WWE, and I think Don Morocco is one of them. You need to be more character-driven and less sort of slabby.
SummerSlam 88 at least.
Yeah, no, and he was in the WrestleMania 4 tournament.
Yeah. And I don't know if he got to Survivor Series or he just left before then.
I just get the impression with Vince as he watches this WrestleMania unfold that he's got a circle and a cross for certain stars because it was. I mean, I've just put what a turd of an opener for WrestleMania. I mean, it's bad. It's not long enough, really, for him to even build any heat for the crowd to maybe get invested to the point where you can't get a winner. That might have saved the bullshit chant, but unless you give them something, if you're just going to have him work over the arm, then fall outside, and then they get counted out.
The ref quickly counts him out.
And like I say, they must know that the people that have bought this ticket at this point, that they're watching a third of an event. Yeah. So when you get that, Jesus. Don't worry, though, because coming out next... Oh, before we get there...
First of all, let me tell you people out there something. It's not my idea to be talking right before a big fight. I don't like to do a lot of talking. My fist's going to do the talking in the ring. You know, we can talk all day. I don't know what I might do to Piper, but I know he's going to be getting hurt out there. I'm going to be hitting the man everywhere, elbow, arms, everything. He start doing dirty stuff. I'm going to start doing some dirty stuff. I want this man too long. Look what he did to my buddy, the Haiti kid. Cut his hair like me, just because my man like me. You know, all other dirty things he
Ladies
did.
and gentlemen,
him and Ace put me back in Phoenix, Arizona. I don't play that stuff. But I'm telling you tonight, we're going to get revenge. What you say, Big Joe? That's right, I'm ready. That's right. We're ready, we're going to do it. That's the end of this interview. Forget all the talking. Get on out there and get him.
We've got Mr. T. Mr. T warns that he'll be ready to fight dirty if he needs to. He shows us the Haiti kid is with him, and he's shaved bald. He then cuts it off as we head back into the ring with George Steele. Anyone want to pass comment on Mr. T's rambling?
It was too long. I think even Vince could tell he's going long. Shut him up.
Yeah.
Think, talk over him now.
By the way, the last match ended in a double DQ. Double count out.
So, yes, we head to the ring where George Steele is already in. Macho Man is out to pomp and circumstance. Our first theme.
I've got a feeling this bloke is going to be built as a star.
Well, which one?
I like George Steele. So
he's the one, though, that I think got the cross and not the circle after this. I think Vince probably went, I can keep his mind, but not his body.
He's 49 at this point as well.
Yeah, he's been going a while. Had
he been wrestling since the 70s?
Yeah, he fought like Bruno and stuff in his run.
Was he always doing that?
No, that was because I watched his match with Bruno and he's actually cutting a proper promo. But I think that was when it went cartoony because
just turned him into
there's the story he says where he goes to Bruno. He goes, Bruno asks him, he goes, what do you think they're doing with all this cartoon stuff? And George Steele goes, I don't know, Bruno, why don't you tell me what you think after my match? And then he goes out and does all that stuff and Bruno goes, you're one of them!
Oh, I love Bruno. Everything took me 60 minutes. So, yes, Macho Man is out, led by Miss Elizabeth. Susan tells us that she's rooting for Animal to teach Macho how to treat a lady, which basically means chase after her and drool.
And eat a turnbuckle too.
Yeah, Macho cuts a promo. We actually see him basically freak out. He says after tonight, Steele will know he's the best in the world. Nice little promo for Macho Man.
I think he's only been into for about 3 months at this point.
I think he's been feuding with Tito, hasn't he?
Yeah, he won the belt off Tito. I think he won in February this year. So
he joined in the year between Mania 1 and Mania 2, hasn't he?
Yeah, nice.
So, Steele does a fantastic flinch at Macho Man, which is brutal. Just amazing.
His matches are the easiest to watch.
Oh, well, yeah, because there's no moves to talk about. Macho Man is still in his glasses and headbands and runs from a crazy-looking Steele. Steele, I've just put, is a bad man. He is a bad man. Macho Man sees he's using a steel chair. Vince tells us that the stuff on George's body would be classed as hair.
A lot of fur. It looks, of course, would be classified as hair, but
What? I love that. He just says it wouldn't be fur, it would be classed as hair.
I know, he's a man.
He's a man. Thanks, Vince. A big standing chokehold by Steele, who has the crowd absolutely in the palm of his hand. I mean, the crowd do love George Steele.
Steele.
He catches Macho Man and chews on his leg. which is amazing. Gets distracted by Liz, though, and is hung up in the ropes. Macho Man lays in shots. There's a big crossbody, which is not very crisp, which sort of leads to a 2. Steel tosses Macho Man outside again. Macho Man slides under the ring, goes round the other side and hits him with a big knee. George gets biting again, and Susan says, "Uh-oh."
Uh-oh. Really? Uh-oh.
Macho Man slaps George with some flowers.
Strange. And that a DQ, a foreign object.
God, no idea. He ends up with them in his own face anyway. George eats some corner post and then rubs some of the stuffing in Macho Man's face. Macho Man suckers George outside, and with Liz's distraction, he hits a top rope axe handle, a slam, and a top rope elbow. The debut at Mania by Macho Man. Top rope elbow. Doesn't get the pin.
Nobody kicked out of his finish.
No, well,
George Steele did.
George Steele.
And Hogan did. Hogan
did wank out. That was 1995.
Animal gets a handful of face. That's right.
I've got that handful of face.
Which I love. And he lays in some terrible kicks in the corner. This allows Macho Man to trip him up. And the weirdest looking sort of wheelbarrow pin I've ever seen.
A sexy pin.
It is a sexy pin.
Sexy pin.
And Macho Man gets the win. I don't know. I can't read the room. I don't know what you two are going to think of this. I think I know what you'll think. Jack?
I liked it. I enjoyed it. I think they both worked well. They both worked the gimmicks well. Steele is very good. Savage is getting a lot better. The inclusion of Liz outside obviously gives us something to play off. Savage pinning with the ropes keeps him as a heel, keeps the belt on him, doesn't hurt Steele. He gets all his stuff after the match as well, eating a turnbuckle and chasing the ref. I thought it was very good. I enjoyed it.
I think I'd have had him win with the elbow. Because, I mean, it's Steele.
Yeah, but I think they're still. I mean, he's still in theory in the feud with him until 3.
Yeah, because he comes out with
I'm assuming this is just the start of the feud in a sense.
Maybe. Yeah, so
they're going to go through.
Yeah, so I think they do work through each other, and then I think Tito might have been sprinkled in.
Was this for the intro?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Sam, workhorse Steele. The workhorse Steele.
I always like Steele because he makes me laugh. And Macho Man, and it's one of at least it's a feud, I suppose. Unlike a lot of matches you had at this point, that was just chucked on the show. At least this had some sort of story with it.
Yeah. I mean, I thought obviously this ain't going to go down as the Macho Man classic or anything, but for what it was all right. I like a story-driven match most of the time, and this was very story-driven, so it was easy to watch. And it was fine for what it was, to be fair. So, yeah, moving on. We head to Chicago with Mean Gene. Oh, Jesus. So, he's interviewing a participant in the upcoming Andre Memorial Battle Royal. The first ever.
The first one with Andre. I remember myself.
And his interview is with Bill Fralick, who is a member of the Atlanta Falcons. He teases taking out Big John Studd, which John Studd gets angry about. He says footballers are nothing, and then squeezes a football, screams a little before we head back to Vince and Susan. Did you enjoy Big John Studd and Bill Fralick?
It was fine, okay. I'm assuming you're teasing interaction between these two, but I have no idea where this happens. But why they had these two in the promo for what happens in the Battle Royal.
Yeah, I think they missed the point of what was going to happen in the Battle Royal.
Well, he comes back, that footballer, though. He's in one of them that tries to slam Yoko.
Bill Fralick is.
Is he on the USS?
Yeah, he's on the USS Intrepid. He got more than the Fridge did. The Fridge is in the Hall of Fame, and he ain't.
Oh, Bill Fralick.
Well, he's dead now.
He was jobbed twice, though, wasn't he? Bill Fralick's dead.
Yeah. I think he died a year
Did
or
he
two
die
ago.
trying to slap you?
No, that was his career. That did that.
You know a lot about Bill Fralick, by the way.
It's his biographer. So, we head to match 3 of New York's 4 matches. It is that classic Jake the Snake Roberts, who debuted 3 weeks before this pay-per-view.
It was recent.
And he's going up against future Hall of Famer George Wells. Sam.
Yeah.
Who's George Wells?
I don't know, George Wells.
Yeah. Well, George Wells was basically the George South of WWE at this point. A jobber who could
work.
Yeah, you knew who he was, basically.
God.
Jake had debuted 3 weeks before the match, so basically we're ready for a squash match. A complete and utter dominant performance by Jake Roberts. He heads out with a snake and slaps George, but eats a big back body drop. So that's enough offence. Jake throws him outside, but not enough offence, because a big shoulder block, a headbutt, and it's all George. George actually pops the crowd with a head scissors.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
What a boy.
Big scoop slam, and Jake looks like the bloke who's jobbing. It's unbelievable. Big knee lift, and Jake is out of it. Big scoop slam gets a near fall. Jake begs off and runs away. He catches him with a knee lift and hits a huge DDT 3 minutes in, and Jake Roberts has got the win. We obviously get the characterisation of WWF Jake Roberts as well, with Damien being wrapped around George Wells. We're supposed to believe that it's squeezing the neck of George Wells.
Oh my God, it's going to kill him!
Yeah, I'm not sure that is the
He's
case.
gonna die! He's gonna die! Don't!
Oh, George Wells wins, so we don't see the snake.
Yeah.
You don't know how wrestling works, love.
You could have said that at any point with any commentary from Susan Sinclair.
Yeah. So James.
Keep calling her Sinclair.
Right.
Sam's had enough of her. He's getting the Boddingtons on the go.
Smart snake.
I just don't really understand the booking of this match, the point of this match, other than the actual snake spot. There was no need for this match, because he can't have helped in the path that Jake Roberts now goes on in his whole career. This match does nothing.
He fights Savage on one of the Saturday Night's main events this year. Jake does.
There's two heels.
Yeah, he's on the
That's
DVD.
very strange. So Sam, Jake Roberts, George Wells.
Well, I initially thought, because I did know this match was on me, but I initially thought it would just be a squash. When I saw Jake getting his ass kicked,
Taking a head scissors.
No, hang on a minute. Have I got the right thing on here? What's going on here? It was. I don't know what this was. I know they want to get Jake on if he's like the new star and stuff, but give him a squash. Give him Pofu. Or at least have him beat up George Wells. That's true, but
I don't think they want to do a straight squash.
but it looked like the George
But
Wells.
that's the problem, isn't it? If you'll book a jobber then onto Mania,
What else did they have?
T2.
we'll have to find out. Yeah,
Yes. Well, there you go. Then he's got a match.
yeah, but we could put George South with JYD.
Wells.
George Wells, sorry, with JYD.
No,
And mix up Tito.
the ethnic team, though. Really.
But I'm just saying is,
Lanny, how come he
you've got a battle royal in a bit, full of people that could have been moved. You could have shoved George Wells in that battle royal, and no one would have known any difference.
This is Jake 3 weeks in. I mean,
Jack, you can't defend this.
I'm defending it. I ain't got a problem with it.
It's terrible.
I ain't got a problem. George Wells, what a boy. Head scissors.
Yeah,
what a man. I think he gets over Jake being dangerous in the sense that he only had to hit 2 moves and he won.
The DDT was put over, and
He
the
did
snake
his-
was
he
put
did the
over.
knee-
But they don't know what it was called.
He did the knee lift, which was his old finish, obviously. He did the DDT, and that was it. So it got over that once he hits there,
I'm
they're
dead.
done.
Bloody hell,
That
that's
day,
why-
that day get that over with me,
Yeah.
because he beat George.
Did to me.
He beat George Wells like.
Yeah,
I mean,
bloody
I
hell,
reckon
say Kevin
I
Nash
think
on
he
the
had it
fight.
with the knee lift.
Yeah, we don't know how strong George Wells was in the
Yeah,
New York
To
territory.
be fair, he was feuding with Hogan involved to
He
this.
might have been fighting Big John Studd last week or something, I don't know.
I know
And
what
then
probably
it was-
did.
I know what Jack's Christmas present is anyway. Get ready
But to
for
me,
George Wells on a
I wore overly bothered about it.
There's not the worst match of the night so far out of the 3 that we've seen.
No, I wouldn't.
Okay, moving on. We get a video replay of Piper and Mr. T's feud. We see Saturday night's main event as Orton jumps Mr. T. And then we cut immediately to LA because, well, Hulk Hogan's there with Jesse Ventura.
First promo.
Wonder if it was the last. Jesse looking like Stevie Wonder. He can't believe that Hogan is fighting Bundy with injured ribs. Hogan says he doesn't care and he'll win. And then he says Mr. T will beat Roddy Piper. And Ventura ends by saying sometimes good guys don't always finish first.
Bro was amazing.
I think they've had an argument between the two of them at this point about unioning. And,
I love it because Hogan's trying to end, and obviously he's the star, and then Ventura just I'm getting last words, and I'm getting myself over.
I absolutely love Ventura.
What Ventura is brilliant. He just don't give a shit, does he?
He's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Only he could attend that wedding and with Uncle Elmer and woman and just completely and utterly steal the show.
That was a real wedding as well.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It wasn't work.
Real.
Yeah, it was real.
That was
It wasn't work. It was real.
It was
that
a
was
real
her
wedding.
wedding day.
Yeah.
When that bell nearly knocked her out, getting the shit out of her. That's how she would have wanted it.
Yeah. It's perfect.
And she picked him.
I take you, Uncle.
I take your Elmer. So is it Mr. and Mrs. Elmer?
Mr. and Mrs. Elmer. First name Uncle. Last name Elmer.
Amazing. So, the Fink does the introductions for our celebrities of the New York scene. Guest ring announcer is famous plasticine woman, Joan Rivers.
Oh, God,
Yeah, God. I mean, she is okay because she's a comedian and she can just handle being... Yeah. There's some people that can't. She introduces the judges. So from the New Jersey Nets is Daryl Dawkins.
Is he too tall? Is that the Daryl too tall thing?
Yeah,
because I looked at him, I bet you he's only like 5 foot or something. And then when I saw him, I thought, oh, right,
He was too tall.
He's a big
a US Music Hall star, Cab Calloway, is our second guest, but he can't be asked to get in the ring. He just gives them away. George, this is the best one. This is celebrity, this is like Celebrity Big Brother style quality Hall of Famer. Gordon Liddy, he's an FBI agent who was involved in the Watergate scandal, which happened about 20 years before this. He's a judge, and he was a judge, and he gets booed by the crowd because he's an FBI agent. But the best bloke, he tries to bloody steal the scene. Is Herb our timekeeper?
Yeah, the only thing I've put is, who's Herb?
Well, I'll tell you who Herb is.
Is he the lion?
No, Herb is...
that's partially.
He was on an advertising campaign for Burger King.
Yeah, like having Ronald McDonald.
Basically, what he was like, it is like having the Churchill dog. It is like having the Go Compare man at Wrestlemania. He literally was. He wasn't.
Is he the king? Is he the Burger King?
No, this is
even the king.
Even the king.
The advertising campaign. He's the only man who's never eaten a Burger King burger. Herb.
That's a lie. Don't believe it.
I call bullshit.
What about vegetarians?
What about Hindus and people like that?
Yeah.
Herb. That was the big star. He's the timekeeper.
That's a terrible campaign as well. Burger King needs to sort of shut out.
We will have someone advertiser who's never tried our product. Basically, you could be saying, I've never tried it. I have tried it now, it's shit. Surely you'd want somebody who's tried it, who likes it.
I've got nothing now. I used to like Burger King the most, but now I hate it.
So there you go. You know, education. Check him out.
God for that.
So, we are heading to our main event of our wrestling card from New York. It is Roddy Piper versus Mr. T in a boxing match.
Great.
So, we get a big head-to-head on the referee's introductions. Piper controls the pace, and they break after a few body shots. I can't believe I'm doing blow-to-blow in a boxing match here.
It was a punch, break.
Another punch.
Piper catches Mr. T with a late shot on the break. Mr. T catches Roddy with a left hook, and the round ends in chaos as they're barely separated. Piper has a load of Vaseline on his head, which the ref
He's greasy.
The ref
He's greasy.
brushes his face.
But surely, what's that going to do?
I don't know. And
It's a stop cut scene.
well, I'll get to my thoughts at the end.
It's
So
real
basically,
policy.
you've got
Yeah.
you've got to have a cut head.
Well, it means you glance the blow because obviously they call connect. So it doesn't make any sense that Mr. T can go, well, I could see it. Oh, well, get that off. Greasy. Which is nonsense. Anyway, second round, Piper gets on top, and the crowd seem to pop that Piper is on top.
Yeah.
Piper has him cornered.
2 years of this bullshit.
T looks completely staggered, and then he is knocked down. I couldn't believe this happened. There's a Roddy chant by the crowd. T falls after the bell, but the referee starts counting and then seems to just go, forget it. And then he just pulls into the corner. It's chaos. The crowd really want Piper to win. Orton forces Mr. T to do the ice bucket challenge. And then we get uh-oh. And at this point I'm thinking, Vince, ooh, Mania's going. Oh, he's going down the toilet, mate. T beats Piper down in the corner. Piper now beats the count. There's a big left hook and Piper drops to the outside, but he is up at 9. The next round gets a pop because we get the first look at the round card girl, which the crowd seem to like. Piper launches a stool at Mr. T, and they trade unblocked punches now. Mr. T is completely gassed. Piper knocks out T's gum shield, and that spot's repeated with Piper losing his gum shield. Piper shoves the ref down and then slams Mr. T. The bell's called. The match has ended. Joe Fraser teases slamming Lou Dover, who's the
Radio 3, brother.
who's the cornerman for Piper. Mr. T has announced the winner to what I would at best call a mixed reaction.
The fed up crowd.
It is total and utter chaos. And whilst I know he's not always the most favoured person on the podcast, I must stress before I get your thoughts that Dave Meltzer gave this the maximum of -5 stars. So, Sam, what's the matter with you? Have you loved all of WrestleMania?
How do you like? I mean, again, it's a boxing match. It's a worked boxing match, really. Kind
Just a
of.
brawl for all.
Yes, it's just.
I thought it was awful.
It was awful. It was shit.
I mean, it wasn't even good. What I don't understand is, you know, when T got knocked down, were they trying to sell that Piper had something loaded in his glove?
I don't know.
That was the thing that bothered me, because T wasn't exactly kept strong. I mean, literally wasn't kept strong.
Neither of them come out looking any good.
Yeah, this did nothing for any of them.
He turns up with Adonis in the gear. I mean,
And the next time we see T, he's got that nightcap on.
Fights Kevin Sullivan in WCW.
It's
How did Kevin Sullivan get a match out of this?
I'm not particularly bothered too much about the boxing gimmick. I mean, it's stupid on a wrestling show, maybe, but I don't really
But if you
care
don't
as long
Mr.
as
T to wrestle one-on-one, it's the only other way to...
Yeah, I don't mind the boxing sort of gimmick, and it was of its time, but it was badly done as well. Like that part of it was badly done.
Oh, no doubt about it.
If I'd have gone to New York, I'd have want my money back. They literally would have want my money.
I'd have been
Nothing.
satisfied with George. Wells. Must stress. Two Georges, I was fine.
I'm not having it. Shite. Sam.
No, it was bad. I thought, geez, I always thought New York might have got at least some of the half-decent ones. Because, I mean, that's where WrestleMania 1 was, and again, this New York territory. And they're giving this shit.
This is, oh God, as a main event, and you've got to see it as a main event, it's one of the worst main events I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's terrible. Jack.
Yeah, they're very good. I mean, it's the boxing match, so it's always going to be difficult to do, and it's got a celebrity in. And you've got a madman in there who's the wrestler in Roddy Piper.
I just wish Joe Fraser had actually slammed Lou in the end.
It probably would have been better if you boxed Joe Fraser.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at least he's a boxer.
It was a bit, or he got a knockout on him after the bell and after the DQ, and then you can pop the crowd with that. But
Or knockout Orton.
it was just a it was just
Because
a
Orton
bit,
fought on
it
his
was
boxing
a
match.
bit shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Not
shit.
great.
It wore booked very well.
Piper would take 4 months off after this, and when he came back, he was a face. This is literally the last time Piper was
Is this when did he come back and just play the bagpipes and that turned him face?
No, I think he come back.
He did a
because
Piper's
that's when
Pit.
Yeah, he come back with Piper's Pit, but the flower shop had debuted
Oh, and
and
then it was
Orton had
all
gone
that.
with him,
Oh,
and
that's
Morocco as well.
Yeah.
He'd just come back. Cause
Next time Piper was actually heel in WWE after this was WrestleMania 19 when he turns on Hogan.
That's amazing.
Which is amazing. Which you can see in our archives and the Mr. America podcast.
Maybe that's what should have happened. He should have left with this and come back at 19.
That was the next time we've seen him. Oh, that would have been brilliant. So, we are heading to the Rosemont Horizon, and we are introduced by Gorilla Monsoon. He's a smiley man, isn't he?
He's very happy.
He has a
Thank God
proper...
they have to do New York.
He has a proper commentary partner in Gene Okerlund. But no, he also has to put up with Kathy Lee Crosby, who's the guest commentator.
Yeah, she's a little bit of a step up.
I just like that.
Yeah, she's better.
She's better, but you can tell that Gorilla throughout just starts to ignore her.
Yeah.
Poor Gene has to keep trying to include her.
Yeah, Gene, he's perv though, isn't he? Oh, Gene.
So, Kathy, you want to go for a drink? Have you seen my arm, brother?
What we need...
Call the hotline.
Call the hotline. Hotel room.
Maybe that's his phone number. He kept giving out.
Just keep you deep breathing, Gene. So, we head...
No wonder your arm's that big.
We head to match number 5, and it is a title match, which is a rarity on this. It is...
Who's the ring announcer? Who's this bloke? He's a celebrity, man.
I think he's the third. No, he's in a celebrity. He's one of the WWE.
Is he?
Yeah, he's one of the WWE's ones. We have the Women's Championship match, the prestigious Women's Championship match that in future will headline a WrestleMania. This one won't. It is Fabulous Moolah versus the mother of Drew McIntyre. It's Velvet McIntyre.
Oh, she's Irish, here.
Did we cover her in '94 in the run?
I think she was in the tournament. I'm sure she was in the tournament.
I thought they fight 100 Blaze at 10.
Yeah.
More this
That was Alani Kai.
Oh.
Who did fight Moolah at WrestleMania 1, wasn't it? Or Wendy Richter.
Wendy Richter.
At WrestleMania 1,
Yeah.
Because this isn't long after the first screw job, is it? When Moolah beats
Banner lady.
So, well, I mean, this is look at that. Look at that to come.
Yeah,
look at that. Moolah jumps Velvet and takes her down, but Velvet hits a dropkick and a big slam. She goes for Brett rope slam, but misses. Moolah covers. Ref counts regardless of Velvet's foot on ropes.
And the win.
Now, I'm going to tell you now that I haven't put this as the worst match of the night because it literally lasts 40 seconds. But those 40 seconds are terrible. I mean, they are literally really bad.
I'm very clunky, aren't they?
Just to give you some context, though.
This was shit.
Velvet McIntyre's strap on her dress
broke. Because
and she had no cover. So Moolah literally just thought, well, I'm going to have to cover her because her tits out.
It was supposed to go longer.
It was supposed to go longer, yeah.
Because you do.
But Velvet McIntyre was supposed to win. Velvet McIntyre was supposed to win. Well, I suppose
Moolah went, I gotta win now. Gotta win now, brother.
I mean, Moolah had some scissors in her hand.
I mean, she could have just held the title on the shoulder like that. I would have covered it.
But yeah, she had her breast exposed, so Moolah went into business for herself, which is part of the reason why the ref's looking and thinking, well, what have I got to do here?
Yeah, you can't just stop or do what George Steele said, have an heart attack. If Hogan got pinned, he can't kick out.
George is amazing, isn't he? MVP of the card.
Both I do remember that because you do see a lot holding the thing.
Yeah. So that'll give you some. If either of you are putting this match of the worst.
Imagine though at WrestleMania 35 if the main event lasted this long after like
Becky Lynch's strap breaks and Charlotte just goes, no,
mate,
I've got to win now. You can't pin me
after like 8 hours of Mania, you build up to the main event and it's over like that.
I just wish we could have gone to New York and Vince is going absolutely ape shit. Just ape. Look what's happened. Anyone want to pass comment on the 3 lines of dialogue we had about that match? Anyone seen anything that I didn't?
No, I don't know. Hair, snap, mare, splash, pin. What the fuck?
Moolah attacks, hair pull, sloppy drop kick, splash missed, 1, 2, 3.
Well,
Moolah
I think
wins.
if it when you wrote less notes about matches that have gone 20 minutes.
You wrote less notes about shows. You did that match.
That was where you should have led on that match.
I don't think. I think it could have been. They could have been okay if they had 5 minutes or something. If the dress.
I think so as well. I mean,
But
it is a bit
because they had
80s
to
women.
rush and they was obviously trying to hold the tits in. It affected a lot.
Yeah.
And I have no idea why she.
Why
she
Moolah
was
then
had
had
to
to
win
win.
why Moolah and then wins. It's strange, but there you go.
Because I think Velvet McIntyre does get the belt and drops the belt, but I might be wrong there. But
I don't know. Moolah's had it for about 100 years. I think there's still
26
women's
years,
show. I think Moolah's still
I
got
love
it.
Moolah finds some way to keep that belt. So we go to our commentary team who discuss the upcoming main event, which is the Battle Royal, and the chances. I know. We'll
That
get to
confused
it.
me, that did.
I don't understand it either. And we discussed the chances of the football players. Kathy Lee has changed her mind. She said, no, they ain't got no chance. I've seen the rest. They're massive.
They're big.
You saw that Bill Krillage, whatever his name is.
Considering
here we
2
are.
of them have stood at Andre, they're massive. I didn't see Brett, but they're massive.
I've seen that Sheik. He was doing this with clubs. Mad man.
I only ordered a kebab. He's throwing it about. Gee, top it.
Don't worry though, it's a Sam classic coming up.
What?
It's a flag match.
Here we go.
Yes,
With a flag match where you don't have to get the flag. This is not a flag match.
It's just a match.
It's just
It's a match with flags.
So, let's have a think. What could the flag match be of 1986? Well, heading out, in the ring, I should say, with his manager, classy Freddie Blassie.
Yes.
It is Nikolai Volkov, who gives us a lovely rendition of the Soviet Union national anthem. He is.
I always thought he never got all the way through. I thought he'd always get interrupted.
I think he got about. He did get slightly interrupted. I think he hadn't quite finished.
I'm not finished yet.
Yeah. But he is interrupted by a jaunty drum band number, our second theme of the night, for Corporal Kirchner.
Leatherface.
Is he? Does he
He's
do
Leatherface in Japan.
Not in the films.
Not in films, but in
He's moreover as a rip-off character.
Yeah.
I love that.
well, he's a rip-off of Slaughter here. So,
That's true.
and he
yeah.
was meant to be in the Gimmick Battle Royal,
And did they sort of just go?
but they
We've
pulled him
lost.
out because of having Slaughter. Hey?
He was supposed to be in the Gimmick Battle Royal.
Yeah, he was on if you look online, the promotional thing for it, you see him.
Is he still alive?
I have no idea.
It's very obscure, Kirsten.
He is.
We
He
get
got
it.
3 variants of the first lot of figures. The LJN, he gets 3 variants.
That's amazing, isn't it? The fact that he knows that.
The fact that he knows that. Doesn't own any of them, by the way. And you call yourself a fan.
Would you want to own 3 Kirsten?
Not after this.
Exactly.
We get a light show outside and everything is amazing. There's a big USA chance to start us off. The best move to open up a match, though, is a big spin kick by Nikolai. I love that swing. Amazing. At that point, I don't care. At that point, it can't be worst match of the night because he's done that move. He can't. I'm not having it. He tosses Corporal outside and rams him into the steel. We get blood.
Of all the matches,
It's amazing.
this is the first one to get blood.
Unbelievable.
I nearly
Blassie,
said only one, but I forgot about the main event.
well, Blassie taunts Corporal outside. Inside, Kirshner hits big right hooks. The ref gets bumped on a pullback of a punch. And this allows Classy Freddy Blassie to presumably just toss the cane to Corporal Kirshner. Although we're supposed to believe that he intercepted it. Nikolai's looking the other way.
Yeah, I was going to say, Nikolai's not why did Kirshner move? Because then I'm sure Nikolai had looked up and the cane and smacked him in the head.
Unbelievable. And anyway, the heel team have ballsed it all up. Corporal Kirshner grabs the cane and clocks Nikolai for the most overused finish ever. The crowd do pop though, saying whatever you want for it.
We beat the Russians. The war is over.
And the fact that California at this point Chicago rather, at this point feel that they've got a better show and they've only seen about 2 minutes of in-ring action says it all. But yes, the winner of the flag match and therefore gets to leave with the flag that he bought.
You get to keep your flag.
What a gimmick.
Woohoo! I'm going to leave you, Jack, because I'm quite interested in how you see this WrestleMania. Because some matches you're acceptant of. This one had blood, a light show, a big flag, a cane finish, Freddie Blassie, and I have a feeling I know where you're going with it. So, Sam, what's your thoughts on this?
I don't know, I'm very different with this because it made me laugh to a degree. I mean, as I say, it's not a flag match; it's a match with flags, and but I've always liked Nikolai for some reason.
I know you like Nikolai. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know why.
I just enjoy the fact that you like Nikolai.
Nikolai makes me smile.
Because he's really awful.
He is, but I just like him.
Bedside table.
He really is. He looks like he's got halfway from a transformation in Beauty and the Beast. I think he was Vince's chest of drawers until Linda's rose.
What I think happened. What I think happened is like, when you go from Bruce Banner to the Hulk. He's not quite angry, he's just miffed. He's a bit
slightly miffed.
He's slightly miffed. So his upper body.
You wouldn't like me when I'm singing. Is that what it is? You wouldn't like me when I'm singing.
You won't like me when I'm wrestling.
And he comes out. He should come out to the bloody sad Hulk music. Shouldn't that be his theme? I'll tell you what I'll put, Jack, to give you an idea. I've put 6 matches in, and this is definitely the best so far. And it was pretty terrible.
Saying that over a Savage match.
As for the flag stipulation, he was waving it on the way out.
That's what I mean. It's not a flag match.
So I do accept it didn't fulfil the brief in terms of what we expected. At least the boxing match, they did box. But Jack.
Yeah, well, the flag gimmick's stupid, and then I don't like it. Right? I have no idea that if the last match went 40 seconds or whatever, why is this going so quick as well? Why didn't they put it after the battle royal? Or what if it was because it went quick because of the bloody dress break? Why don't they just say to him, look, go out for 5 extra minutes?
Well, Nikolai couldn't
have a brawl. Just have a bloody brawl.
Maybe those Nikolai sing the whole that's laughter. But it's like you with New York. He only knows the first.
Look, there's a lot of countries in the Soviet Union. Sing all of their names.
I have no
time. And then by the time you get to Lithuania, you send Kirshner in.
I've got no time for Corporal Kirshner.
Oh, he ain't very good.
I don't like Corporal Kirshner. I don't like the gimmick. He's so overplayed. It's nonsense. We have an American hero. He wears yellow pants. We don't need him as well.
Yeah, you're right.
Nikolai Volkov is fine, but he's always lumbered with patriotic men as his adversary, which is to his fault here. So I thought it was bad. Could have done without it. Didn't need to happen.
So one of us says it's probably the best so far.
Which was you.
Jack, Sam's just grinning near to her cousin Nikolai.
Nikolai's big pants.
And you hated the bones of it.
I did everything about it.
That's why you come and listen to our podcast for the variety. Moving forward, Mean Gene is in and taking over from whoever the ring announcer was. Because it is the main event for the Chicago Chicago.
What is the fucking beef woman out there?
What? Where's the beef woman?
Which is the McDonald's advert.
Is he?
Yeah.
Is that what that? Because I always heard the phrase, "Where's the beef?" I just thought, what's it for?
Out of a McDonald's advert.
Is it?
a match?
That could be. They had to separate.
Claire fella.
So, oh god, amazing. So, we get the rules and then we get the celebrities. I'm funny, I'm not sure if this is a joke character or not, but in the crowd is some old lady called Claire Keller who's sort of like screaming and yelping and looks like she really needs some level of assistance.
Oh, cracked up with that. Shouting without the mic. Moving the mic.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck her. Give me this shit.
Because you're not going to go now. You look like somebody give her a cue. And she just goes,
She looked like a rolled doll character.
Flag match. Come out with him.
Bowler, I'm coming for you.
I mean, she could win MVP. You
Oh,
know, amazing. So, yes, from the Chicago Bears, and the referee in a battle royal is Dick Butkus.
Oh, Dick
Butkus.
I wrote that down now. It made me chat.
Oh, you got it wrong, actually, Sam, because this is Ed Too Tall Jones. He's a ref.
Oh, he's a ref on here.
He's from the Dallas Cowboys. He gets a few boos. I suppose they're in Chicago. He plays for Dallas.
Yeah.
So, whatever. But
we'll have you anyway.
Are we ready for the list of our 20... Is it 20 men?
20 and 14 wrestlers, 6 NFL players.
You
I
ready
always
for
thought it was 10 each.
Well,
but then when I did
one of them, though, counts for at least 4. So, it is from the Bears, the Chicago Bears, who gets a pop, Jimbo Covert. Then former world champion and first Triple Crown champion, Pedro Morales.
Your stocks fell a bit.
The next one, the man who could have saved Bruiser Brody, it's Tony Atlas.
Don't blame him.
No, I blame him. He should have sorted it out.
I forgot he was in this, but I saw him. Oh, bloody hell, it's Tony Atlas.
Well, that's Tony Atlas, isn't it?
That's Tony Atlas.
The best one.
Next one. Oh, God.
Yes.
We could do a podcast and a half about this guy. It's Ted Arcidi.
Oh,
yes. I mean, what?
Mr. Vinbag himself.
I think
Bill Casper.
I think they closed the book in Las Vegas on who was going to win it as soon as he was announced.
The fucking size of it.
There is no chance at all that they were drug testing at this point. And I'm telling you now, he would not pass a drugs test at any point.
He got the LJN figure. He's in it. He's one of them.
He got a figure. How big's that figure?
I don't know. It's like that. It's like that.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm going to buy that.
Yeah, I'll buy it.
Christmas sorted for you.
He's amazing.
I've
never seen a man that big.
Jesus Christ. He takes the piss when the warlord's looking at him and going, calm down, brother.
Bloody hell, brother. I'm sick. You little pipsqueak, brother.
That's it.
Oh, that looks like him, actually.
There's an interview from Hannibal TV. He does an interview with him.
Is he still alive?
He's still alive.
How's he survived? There's nothing wrong with steroids. No one ever dies of steroids. I don't care what anyone says. The Warlord and Ted Arcidi could now form a tag team in Chicago.
Do we advocate steroid use?
I'm sorry, but I'm just saying, if you just stick to the steroids and look like Ted Arcidi, obviously it prolongs life.
If you can get past your 30s, you'll be fine.
From the Dallas Cowboys, more booze, it's Harvey Martin. And next is bloody Waylon Mercy, Dan Spivey.
It's the not quite Hulk Hogan.
Yeah. He's Hulk Hogan B. Next, so it's Jack's boy.
Yeah.
It's the Hillbilly Jim.
Deserve better.
He looks even happy doing this, though. He's getting paid.
Yeah, next out is King Tonga, or Haku, as we know him now.
Very young Haku.
Big Heat, as the next is a former world champion. It is the Iron Sheik.
Yeah, still gets booed like him.
Oh, they hate him. That's amazing. From the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's Ernie Holmes. And out next, the Killer Bees.
Great.
No one cares.
Fridge mentions that in his Hall of Fame speech.
The Killer Bees?
Yeah, and they get a pop.
That's only because he can only remember 8 wrestlers, because he was in the ring with 8 wrestlers.
They had yellow and blue and black on, I remember them.
I fought some bees.
Big John Studd is out next, tells us he's winning this thing, and then from the Atlanta Falcons is Bill Flair. The Hart Foundation are out in blue.
Yeah, that looked very strange, that did.
Yeah. From the 49ers, I take this thing way too serious. It's Russ Francis in his PE kit. What the shit is he wearing? Next, I can't believe this guy's doing this.
I was surprised.
Did you know it's his only ever pay-per-view match?
Yeah.
Is he? Yeah.
Yep.
Never
Only
appeared
ever
in a pay-per-view in competition. It is Bruno, the living legend, Sam
Who
Martino.
gets a fair pop.
Quite rightly so.
Yeah,
Bruno bloody
right.
Sam Martino.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't book him in New York.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, but
Fighting Jake. Jake over.
Look as he does the head scissors. No chance he's taking that snake. He just suplexed it.
We're in the fucking Bears, brother.
From the Bears to the biggest pop. Fuck you, Bruno. The biggest pop of the night is for Hall of Famer William the Fridge Perry, and he jumps. And Mean Gene makes him look like a complete boss.
Yeah, Gene, the only one in the ring who sells it.
Yeah.
But he sells it.
And last entering with his gold pantaloons.
Seen better days.
Seen better days.
Andre.
It is the memorial himself, Andre the Giant.
It is Hogan. Did he give Hogan his pants as well? Because Hogan always says the yellow boots are from Andre. Did he give him his pants?
This is my point. And I would have fucking ripped that necklace off him as well if I was Andre.
Give me back my pants!
Where did they rip his pants off?
My pants! Pull him up by his pants once, didn't he? I'm sure he did.
I think you did, yeah.
And on commentary, fucking Ernie Ladd. He should have been on commentary all the way through, because I like Ernie Ladd on commentary.
Yeah, it makes sense, because he's been a footballer. But don't we say something like, I've been on both sides, both very hard. Football, I think, harder. But wrestling, I think, is harder than football. What?
I love Ernie.
The big cat.
The big lad, Ernie Cat.
I like Ernie Ladd, though.
Big lad.
Ernie Ladd just sounds like he should do a load of audio books, because you just want to listen to his voice.
When I hear him, no one in the world doesn't imagine Ernie Ladd when you know what he looks like.
I absolutely love Ernie Ladd.
He's like the proto Morgan Freeman.
Yeah,
it's not Ernie Ladd, he's God.
He is in WWE. He is Morgan Freeman. That's what I always think of.
He was the next choice in Bruce Almighty.
Yeah, but wouldn't he have chopped Jim Carrey? He's stupid.
The first time I seen JYD was looked like a stiff breeze and blow him over.
What a man!
Oh.
What an impression.
So, the two Bears teammates save each other early on, and first out is Jimbo Covert and Hoku. They're dumped out first. Ernie Holmes is dumped out by Bruno Sammartino.
One of them the football player just hang about for a bit.
We'll get to him. Takes it too serious, Ross. Studd and Andre hook up, which gets our first pop. Jim Brunzell's out the other side. Tony Atlas is thrown out by the Fridge and gets his elimination. Big John Studd doesn't hold back on the Fridge in the corner. I mean, he lays some punches in. Big John Studd takes this thing serious, and he's like, "Fuck you, football! I fucking hate you." You know, pissing me off.
I think he don't like Andre, but he couldn't take it out on him. He goes, right, footballers, come here.
I ain't taking out Andre. Pedro and Harvey Martin are out, and then leave the memories alone. Ted Arsini is dumped out.
With this elimination, Ted Arsini looks like when you overflow like a dumpster with bin bags, and one of them you just see slowly falling off. That's what I think Ted Arsini looks like. Slowly falling bin bag.
You can't take it too big of a bump, he might explode.
That's right, well, exactly so with the bin bag if you drop it.
I just imagine, when you get that perfect turd and it just keeps hanging on to your arse and then plop. That's the Ted Arsini I imagine. Anyway, I'll
But I
edit that
think
out.
when you see him, he looks so grateful to be on the ground.
There's been a man who looks great.
He's thinking, oh shit, what are my legs doing above my enormous body?
He don't want to take a bump, so oh, thank God that's done.
Ted Arcidi. Oh, what a man.
What a boy.
I might rename this the Ted Arcidi show.
Better call Arcidi.
Yeah, better call Arcidi. So, Waylon Mercy is dumped out by Colonel Mustafa. That's a weird sentence to write.
That's what you look at where they go.
Hillbilly Jim and B. Brian Blair are out next, and the Fridge. Now I noticed that the Fridge looks like he's wearing some level of mankini, because a bit of it is stuck up his arse by the looks of it.
He was looking at the Fridge's arse.
The red bit of the back of his t-shirt sort of sticks into. Yeah, whatever. I'll leave it with you.
I don't know. I just remember him doing the charge onto the Art Foundation. I thought, I don't think they go out here. I'm sure they do.
Well, hopefully.
I got slightly worried. I thought bloody hell Anvil don't
Weird
rock.
battle royal, because the last two then would have been odd. Fralick is dumped out next, and San Martino tosses out the Iron Sheik. Bruno, though, for 50 years old he was at this point, and he looks in better shape than at least 80%. Definitely better shape than Ted.
He's probably in the best shape out of all of them.
He is out by
Not
Big
Brett.
John Studd, though, which is good, because he gets him definitely.
I was going to say, when I saw Bruno, I thought, who knocks him out?
It had to be Andre or...
It'd have to be a wrestler. Can you imagine telling Bruno, hey Bruno, we want a football player to dump you
It's going to
out.
be Russ Branson looking at Bruno.
There is no chance Bruno would say that. As you said, William Perry now tackles the Hart Foundation who bump. Vince trusts these bastards to bump, don't he? Let's face it.
Well, Anvil was a football player, so technically was he NFL or wrestler?
It's true. The big matchup of the whole Battle Royal, though, is now on as the Fridge tackles Big John Studd, but he's hip tossed by Big John Studd out. Big John Studd stupidly offers his hand, which Ernie Ladd gets pissed off about. And he gets pulled out. So, yeah.
But he really necks himself as well, don't he? When he drops out, he's like, oh, bloody hell, he does a boss man in 92.
I just love the fact the Fridge is the heel here, surely.
Yeah, he's done a Hogan.
He's definitely done a Hogan, but he does get a massive pop.
Do you think Vince was going, maybe next year?
It could. There was money in that. There was definitely money in that.
Well,
we're down to our final four. One of them doesn't have money in him, though. It is the Hart Foundation, Andre the Giant, who's done bugger all in this, and Lost Property Kid, Russ Francis, who's literally taking this thing far too serious. And you can tell Anvil and Brett at this point, they know they've got to get rid of this bloke the hard way. Because if you don't, he's staying till the end. Like, he don't give a shit.
Then again, would he have tried to tackle Andre? Because Andre would have picked him up. Go away.
I would have fucking chipped myself and ran. I would have been gone. But anyway, the Hart Foundation do, in the end, toss Russ out. They're left down then to double team Andre. The crowd do want Andre to win. Anvil tackles Andre, but there's a big boot to Bret Hart. A hard big boot. The best spot, definitely, where Andre grabs Anvil's goatee. Big boot to Anvil, and he takes a mega bump, and somehow falls to the outside. Anvil is out, and Bret Hart is caught on the top rope and press slammed onto Anvil on the outside. And the first winner of the Andre Memorial Battle Royal is Andre the Giant. Jack, thoughts on Andre winning the Battle Royal?
It was alright. I don't really get why they had the promo earlier with Bill Frelick, or if he's not actually going to have any interaction with Big John Studd at all.
I guess wouldn't it be better off than the Fridge?
Well, yeah. Well, I know maybe it would have dampened the pop that he got. But for what it was, I thought it was quite good. I enjoyed it. I think everybody looked decent in it who needed to look decent, and everybody who didn't. So it was okay.
I
Russ Francis shouldn't have been in the line.
I always think with battle royals that really hit or miss.
Yeah.
And you very rarely get a classic battle royal unless Greg Valentine's in it. But But I actually think this is one of the better battle royals I've ever seen in terms of this. And this is in 1986. You know, I like the pacing of it. I like the fact that you had that big match up in the middle of it, which was the spot fest. You had Bruno getting a few eliminations, which was the feel good, and you had Andre, overcoming the odds at the end and knocking out the two.
Overcoming the odds. The man who's won a lot of battle royals. He that youngster.
Well, it became a handicap match though, didn't it? In effect. And the Heart Foundation bumped so well for Andre, who literally stood in the corner for the next 20 minutes of it. Andre is definitely the right winner. Without a shadow of a doubt, he is the right winner.
He ain't going over the top, is it?
No. And like I say, everyone I think that you wanted to sort of put over got over. Yeah. So I thought it was really good. And like I say, there was money in Will Perry versus Big John Studd at some point.
Well, where is WrestleMania 3? Where's that? Pontiac?
That's this year.
Michigan.
Either way, you could have done it on a big super show in this.
In Chicago.
Yeah. Sam?
It was alright. It was a good paced battle royal. Some of the football players, I think, took it, as you say, a bit too serious. Which did make me laugh. But you could tell that really Fridge was the only football player that really cared about it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. After these, Jesus, the mooks in this. So, we are back with, strangely, Vince and Susan, who have got comfy chairs, and they are interviewing Roddy Piper. Oh, God, Roddy. He said he came to fight. He calls Mr. T and William Perry cheats. Says he rubbed his hair. He said Mr. T rubbed his hair in Piper's eye, and then he repeats the dyed black and Indian hairline from earlier on. He says that he was slipping on Mr. T's tongue, which I think Vince thinks, I'll just wrap it up now. You've been talking shit. And we go back to Mean Gene, who is with Jimbo Covert, who was the first out. He said he was cheated by Fralick. So, are they building some sort of infight in the
Actually, on the football field.
The Falcons and the Bears. Unbelievable.
They're going to build that match, aren't they?
Then, obviously, you want to get in to talk about it. The Iron Sheik. He gives us the gun show. He tells us that Iran is number one. And
about Nikolai, I'm sure he mentions
something about Nikolai, amazing. You just give this man a mic and everyone will be happy. It is amazing. Anyone want to comment on interview happiness?
Oh, Sheik. I mean, I'll never pass up a Sheik interview.
Well, we've got another celebrity appearing now, and Ite, where's the beef? It is.
Where's the drug?
Where's the bat?
We get a few replays, and then we get the announcements for the tag team title, not main event, in the main event. It is the tag team champions of the Dream Team. It is your boy, Greg Valentine, and Sam's boy, Brutus Beefcake.
I knew you were going to say that. You know that's a bold-faced lie.
It's a lie.
It's a lie.
For the third time, we get a theme music, and it is Rule Britannia, as the Bulldogs are out.
With Captain Lou.
Yep.
Yeah.
With Ozzy Osbourne in Peach and Captain Lou Albano.
Lou Albano should not be hanging about with Ozzy Osbourne.
All I'm saying is, which one of these four has had the most amount of cocaine?
There's a lot of drugs in
That's true.
Four, even the dog.
I can say, even the dog. I think the dog's probably had the most.
Oh, there's so much drugs in them four, even at that point.
They're fucked. I mean, literally all of them are fucked. I absolutely love Captain Lou Albano, though. He's mad. There is just, how the hell can you book that man?
Needs to give him all the direction. He goes out and goes, oh, you're fucking just does what he wants.
Mean Gene Oakland can't really be heard initially, but when we do hear him, he tells us a bald-faced lie that Ozzy Osbourne is from Manchester. He is not from Manchester.
He's from Birmingham.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Just to tie it in with the Bulldogs, who was supposedly
from Manchester. And they were from Leeds, but whatever.
Well, Bulldog was from Shropshire.
Was he from Shropshire?
Yeah. And
why does he talk like a Yorkshireman then?
I don't know.
Because he
Some of the
definitely
drugs.
sound like
Some of
a
the drugs.
Yeah, because he really
It's
likes.
just slow.
He likes the cricketer, don't he? What's his name?
Ian Bowden.
The one on the
I
BBC.
can't think
I
of
can't
his
remember
name
his
now.
name.
Limey.
No, he always going to have him in my fantasy
The one
card.
on BBC. Jeffrey Boyd.
Jeffrey Boycott. Yeah. Boycott and the Bulldogs. Coming up in the main event.
That's lovely. Come out with Boycott.
Whoa! You're just trying to defend it. You've got to defend it, Bulldogs.
It's not wrestling. It's not wrestling.
He'd be happy to get 30 minutes. Nothing that. Our referee is Jim Davidson as well, which I did like. Yeah, he doesn't call for the bell because Johnny Valiant is keeping his champions in the ring to give them a pep talk. I should mention Johnny Valiant, manager of the tag team champs. Davey Boy.
I hate John. I hate him. Johnny Valiant.
You ate him more than Brutus Beefcake. Davey Boy and Greg are starting us off. There's a big power on show as Greg is cornered and his arms are worked over. Dynamite is in to continue.
His arms are working.
Well, they am. They are working. The pace of Dynamite, though, when he bounces off the ropes, he bounces off the ropes.
I'm bouncing off the fucking ropes.
Jesus Christ. There's a big snap suplex.
Tell me what
Dynamite.
you're really angry about.
I'm telling you one thing. Dynamite pulls nothing. If he's hitting you, he's hitting you.
Oh, we wait for the finish.
Fucking real to me.
It's a big stalling suplex is teased, and then we hit it. Then hit for a 2 by Davey Boy. I mean, I can't really wax lyrical more about the fact that Bulldog can seemingly suplex a T-Rex. He literally, I've never known a man just be able to suplex
a T-Rex.
Whatever he just suplex. That's it, Greg. Fuck you. I'm up. Get up. We've had it. Gets a 2 on a schoolboy. Davey Boy hits a perfect plex, which gets a 2. All the challenger so far completely and utterly dominant in this match. Greg gets a blind tag and hits a suplex to slow the offense. Ozzy gets the picture-in-picture. Kathy tells us about her grandfather's love of Gorgeous George as Dynamite injects the pace. There's a big sunset flip for a 2. The crowd are completely into the match, but it has been all the faces, so there's very little heat so far been built. A modified pile driver is hit by Greg. Modified as in worse than a pile driver. I'll go to the knees. But whatever. The crowd pop on the kick out. Dynamite gets the knees up to the balls of Greg, who takes the Ric Flair top rope press slam. Beefcake breaks up the pin, and the Bulldogs go for a press slam headbutt, but Greg rolls out of the way. The power of the Bulldog, again, is crazy. It's a big power slam, and then another suplex. He goes shoulder first into the ring post, and he goes shoulder first into the ring post. There's big stomps by Greg, and the heels now can work over the arm of British Bulldog. Big shoulder breaker by Greg, who pulls Davey up on a 3. So I suppose we get a visual win effect for the heels. Davey Boy, though, now reverses an Irish whip to toss Greg into the corner where Dynamite is sort of perched on the top rope. Greg bounces head first into Dynamite. He goes flying. Completely collapses, and that is the finish. Davey Boy covers Greg, and we have new tag team champions in the British Bulldog. The best of it is, though, the Bulldogs have put in probably one of the best tag team matches I've seen from the Bulldogs, and they don't even get to celebrate with the belts because the presumable new champions are Ozzy Osbourne and Lou Albano, who are completely hot dog with the belts. Yes. I absolutely loved that finish. I can't stress here enough.
I don't know if we're going to get here to speak to the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I mean, Bulldog as a chat, fucking Dynamite's just fucked. I mean,
this is his way of it. I cut in a promo.
You do it.
Do he bleed?
Well, he probably does. He looked like he literally head-butted him. It's just,
I thought as well when he said he head-butted him, because I think I just looked away for a bit. And he said, oh, he hit his head and whatever. And I thought, okay, I've got to rewatch it. That's where his head did. And he went flying across the arena.
It's no wonder that man is paralysed. It's just, well, he ain't no more, he's dead, isn't he? But,
yeah, no wonder he's backwards fucked.
Well, I mean,
I think it was this year his back did out.
He's fucked, no wonder. He just slowed down, for fuck's sake.
Jack?
I thought it was one of the best matches we've done on the podcast, I would say.
I mean, we review crap, so
well, yeah, exactly.
We did watch a load of AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels recently,
Yeah, but this is really good.
It is very
Brutus
good.
and
Don't forget Brutus. Brutus,
yeah, but he ain't in a lot. To be fair, that most of it's great.
It's Greg being the Bulldog.
I thought it was really, really good. I thought Bulldog looked as good as he's looked. Dynamite's obviously very good because to him it's real. And Greg is a brilliant heel.
Oh,
he hasn't good. He hasn't quite turned got his belly at this point, so he's still very good.
I think we are discovering our podcast boy, Greg Valentine. There is nothing that Greg Valentine can do in the eyes of Better Call Creative that isn't great, let's face it. I mean,
well, tomorrow is Greg Valentine's Day.
What a man.
Until we cover him.
Spoiler when we're recording.
Yeah, I've got to concur that I thought it
I
was
agree.
Definitely
brilliant.
so much better than I could have ever imagined that this match was going to be. I also read beforehand in building the card that Dave Meltzer gave this 4 and a bit stars, so I thought it could be good. But then I thought, well, Dynamite Kid's in it, so he would have given it 2 stars to start. But it was worthy of a high match rating. It was a tremendous finish. I even loved the finish, the creativity in throwing your opponent into your teammate's head.
Your partner for the belt.
I just love it. I absolutely loved that finish. And then Ozzy Osbourne and fucking Lou Albano, 47-time tag team champion, manager of the world, whoever he is.
They won the belt for
16 times, I think he was.
That promo from Bulldog was a bit weird, where he just went, well, now we've won him, we're going to stay in the US.
That's it. That one Bulldog. And I love Ozzy. They're great. It's great.
Bulldogs.
Well done, bloody hell. We're all English.
We're all from the same 2 cities, from London and Manchester.
We're all from Angleterre. Sam, do you concur?
Yes, I concur. And as I say, the fact that I saw Ozzy Osbourne and Lou Albano together, I thought, bloody hell, no one have been staying in New York and they have to deal with them too. Gorilla, you sort of them.
You have them.
And Dynamite. Bump going across the arena for that headbutt. It was creative, but I thought maybe he'd have just dropped down, not go flying across.
It's real to Dynamite.
Well, this is my point. Either he has literally just thought, I'm just going to keep my head here, or he has sold it. I literally thought that man was going to stand up with no head. So his head would have fell off. That's it. It's just such a good finish. I love the finish as well, because I weren't expecting that to be the win.
But in all honesty, it would have been a bit soft if Bulldog had done that and he didn't win, and then he couldn't take Dynamite because he was halfway across the arena having smacked his head. His Bulldog's like, you fucking moron. What are you doing?
I really like that. And now, I think if we can give any match recommendation from WrestleMania 2, it is fair to say
so far
we would all recommend that you go and watch that tag team match. So, wrapping up the Chicago portion, Gorilla Monsoon sends us to Vince and Susan back in New York. They put over the main event. Then we hear some daytime TV music, and we're heading to LA as we go to Lord Alfred Hayes, yes, and Jesse Ventura, yes, and Elvira. She had her own DC comic book. Elvira did, yeah.
What is that? I don't really know what her is.
She's just a bird who dressed up as like Wednesday from the Addams Family kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think she did program like for horror films or something.
She did. It was like a daytime TV thing in America where it was like cheesy horror nonsense that used to go on all the time. She was the host. She was quite big in America though at this point. She was like,
I've seen her before. I know she's like pop culture.
I don't think she's quite as big as she used to be.
Is that a tech reference?
I'm not saying anything because in the ring,
I've reduced her.
In the ring, it's Jack's boy. It's Hercules
He's not as big as he will become.
Dressed in proper gladiator.
He will be a gladiator.
Yes, he's in the ring, and so is Ricky Steamboat, who's his opponent. This feels oil on water before they've even locked up.
That's a bit to be fair.
When I saw Ricky Steamboat and Herc on the card, I thought, have they picked these out of the bag?
Even me, who loves them both, would be thinking, well, will they actually work them?
Well,
I don't know, I
find out.
thought that could.
Well, we'll find
Could.
out. We'll find out. Would could be would. Ooh, that's a mouthful. Ricky Steamboat, who was supposed to fight. Do you know who was supposed to fight on this show?
No.
Mr. X.
Bret Hart.
It's supposed to be Red.
Supposed to fight Bret in a one-on-one. Because they were trying to build contenders for the Intercontinental title, which they saw as the workhorse title, but they pulled Bret because they wanted him to do the Andre.
It would have been weird to just have Anvil.
Maybe Anvil was maybe Andre was going to pick up Anvil and thought you had to give
He
me
ain't picking her up, I'll tell you that for nothing. The arena in LA is a bit more spacious than the other arenas as well. There's a lot more room.
It looks the worst as well. You've got that bloke at the front with a fucking TV antenna picking up the sand. What's going on here?
Terrible. Herc jumps Dragon to start. Dragon's pace throughout is quite good. He hits chops and slides through on a couple of hip tosses. They're slightly mistimed, but the crowd are pretty hot for the match because they've sat through 8 other matches on a big screen. Lord Al suggests both men are in line for an IC title shot. Jack, I've got bad news for you.
One of them is.
Ricky works over the arm of Big Herc and a back elbow by Dragon and a suplex. I'm not sure Ventura and Lord Al are the best pairing because they're both colour.
Yeah, I was going to say who's.
It's weird to have the main four.
Because I thought surely Lord Al's more likely could be a play-by-play.
I just don't know whether they had any more play-by-plays than Gorilla and Vince, though.
Well, they
I
could
don't
have
think they had
Gene,
Sean.
really. So couldn't you have had
Gene
Gene?
could have play-by-play.
No, Gene's the same.
You surely would have had Vince or Gorilla on your final 4 matches of the show.
I would have had Vince all the way through, I
Yeah.
think, or Gorilla all the way through. But I suppose logistically it was difficult, really, at this point.
Vince flew from New York to LA.
No, I don't think they had Zoom at this point. Is there? So, I mean, Vince would have had Vince would have had a cat filter on, not known how to work it. Or something.
I'll put the background on. The hell's that unicorn? I love unicorn, pal.
But Elvira tells us that she's used to gore and violence, but this is even getting to her. As
why?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's only laying in punches in the corner.
Have they mocked Steamboat's attire yet?
Do they mock his
attire? With the little tassel across his... Yeah, Ventura and Elvira said, I look like a sissy.
Did they?
Yeah.
I will splice
and
that
then
in.
it's Lord Al who goes, I don't think he's a sissy. Stop. Ventura can kind of say it.
Well, there's the very ugly body press now, which is followed by a second one, which is much better. Hurt goes up top, but eats knees on a splash. Ricky shows him how to do top rope offense, though, and hits a big crossbody for a 3. Not much to say, really. It was a match.
Just so we know.
Sam?
It was okay, I think. It could have done a bit better. But it's sort of middle. It ain't quite really bad, but it ain't...
You would forget this match. We'll forget this match.
Yeah.
In a couple of months, we will forget that we've seen this match.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily a bad thing.
Defend him. It's your boy.
He is my boy, and this is the reason why, because it was good.
It was alright.
It wasn't brilliant. Like, it ain't like 5 stars. It's passable. It's decent. Is it Mania quality? No. Was it Mania quality for the time? Yes, because
Easily.
it was a good star versus star in a sense. No,
Steamboat fought Doink the year before.
Thanks.
He did, yeah.
Looks like Ryan Sidebottom as well in this match.
I thought that hurt, and I can't believe I missed out the note where I said that he looked like Justin Lee Collins. But Ryan Sidebottom is also a good
I think Sidebottom's there.
I don't know which one the American fans will know more, but that's very, very UK-centric, that
I wonder
comment.
which one they'll know.
It was. What I will say though is when you've got a. I think the beauty of this is you can compare each section. So you've got 3 starter matches for each one. One's Ricky Steamboat Herc, one's Velvet McIntyre Moolah, and one of them is Orndorff and Morocco. So on that alone, it wins. So we are back in the ring, and Jimmy Hart, who is a thing, I didn't realise he was in the Fed at this point, but he is the manager of the adorable Adrian Adonis. Our 4th entrance theme, but it's dubbed, is for... I mean, you're building up to your main event, aren't you? So, you get them out. You get out your second top babyface. It is in a Robin Hood hat.
I don't know, I think he's more Little John.
He's a bit Little John.
Little John!
That one. It is Uncle Elmer. I can't believe how old this guy is. And at the same time, I can't believe
He's
it.
in LA as well.
You would cheer. You would go absolutely out. You would have your top off. You would have had tears streaming down your
But not
face.
for the reason that they love him. He's like my George Samrat. He's like, oh my God, he's so bad, he's brilliant.
Yeah, he is. He is so good. I love Uncle Elmer. He's so of his time.
Even Thomas Tuchel.
He is so of his time. There is. You literally can go, this is wrestling at this point. That's that wrestler.
You take him and you show him and you go, which time period was he in? And you will not. You could put to the date of when he was in it. He could only work here.
Yeah, he ain't working with Flair. Not Kakamaki.
Definitely 1986 WWF.
So, oh God, I can't believe the start of this. Uncle Elmer flaps his wrist and insinuates that Adrian is a bit flimsy. Adrian makes some strange sort of, I don't know what he does, sort of prancing kind of thing. Yeah. And he has the weirdest makeup. Is he supposed to look like he's got a black eye?
I know he had like a bit of purple, but I thought, why is he meant to look like Brother Love?
This is Vince not understanding why Adrian Steele is so over.
Adrian Street.
Adrian Street, sorry, not Adrian Steele. Who the hell is Adrian Steele? I've just met him up.
George Steele's brother. Brother.
No, Adrian Street, he is
He's
a lesser Adrian Street.
Oh, yeah, my God. Vince would have loved to have had Adrian Street because he'd done all the work for him. He created the gimmick.
Lord Al has no idea what is on Adrian's head. It looks like some sort of bow or something. I don't know what it is. Elmer sends Adrian into the corner. Oh, and then Elmer, he lays the punch and falls over.
Don't even
Look at him, he fell over, throw a punch.
He even made me chuckle.
I rewound it. I was that happy.
You rewound
I did a rewound the stumble.
The best bot.
We've saw this man's wedding. And then we've seen his funeral.
Uncle Elmer makes Adrian.
Not literally, by the way. Somebody will moan at that.
Adrian goes full Shawn Michaels here and bumps in the middle of the rope after a belly bump.
This one is extreme.
What a bump.
That is unbelievable.
No,
Elmer rips off the dress of Adrian.
No,
and then,
the commentary. I want to put that dress back on.
I know, and she says, "Oh, there's so much cellulite," and then Jessica goes, well, "What about the fat bloke who did?" You go, "No, it's all right. He is. I like him.
He's not showing his tits."
Adrian disrobes, but eats a big avalanche in the corner, which was enough to destroy Hulk Hogan's ribs, but not enough to win him this match. Uncle Elmer then goes Hulk Hogan and goes for the leg drop, misses it. Adrian goes up top, hits a top rope splash. Eddie Guerrero, it isn't, for a 3 count. Oh, God. Wrestling sends you all over the place.
It does. You want to find out who you are as a human being? Watch wrestling.
Sam,
I'll do this match. It was on here. But because I don't think I ever actually saw it properly.
No, I had
before then, and I just thought, oh God,
a little bit of a treat.
Uncle Elmer. I've seen too much Uncle Elmer doing this podcast.
I think we've seen him all. We don't need to see. I don't think we need to see any more of him to know what Uncle Elmer is now.
Hey, he went to his 5-star classic in the Currican Hall.
Even Butter. Yeah. Someone on this card had a 5-star classic with... one person on the card had a 5-star classic with Tiger Mask. The other's Uncle Elmer. So, Jack?
Falling over, throwing punches is amazing. The belly bump's great. Adrian does his best. Obviously, he'd had a bike accident, hadn't he, or something, which caused him to get fat.
Yeah.
I think so. And he died in a car accident 2 years later.
I would start walking if I was you.
Stop driving.
I don't think he was driving. I think he was in a van with a few people.
Well, that's a somber note. But
see you next week.
Uncle Elmer.
But I think Adrian is at his best here. Uncle Elmer, I don't think he's ever had a best.
I think he's at his best, though.
It was, well, yeah, probably is. Well, he's over. But, yeah, I didn't enjoy it.
I quite... For a bit of gaga and... I'm not sure this belongs on Mania. No, that's what I've put. I don't know whether it belongs on Mania. But I actually thought
Jim the Adonis. I think that does.
It was probably as good as Macho Man versus Steel in terms of...
I thought you were going to say Macho Man beat Steamboat.
Piss off.
I just think, you tell me the move that you did in...
He did the arm thing. He threw a punch and fell over. I mean, he doesn't deserve to be in a ring. I could throw a punch and not fall over, and I've not been trained.
Yeah, but I mean, he didn't sexy pin him to win the match.
Would you want to be sexy pinned?
I want to see a sexy pin.
I think you'd be... There'd be a wafer maybe between the two of them, but not a great deal between the two matches. I thought both of them was gaga.
You get it wrong, you do.
You'll see my rebooking whether I've left it in. We get the second interview now with Hulk Hogan, but this time he's replaced Ventura with Lord Al. Al asks if he's 100% fit.
Standing next to me, the World Heavyweight Champion, Hulk Hogan. Hulk, this will undoubtedly be your toughest title defense yet. It's rumored that you're not exactly 100% fit, and it's also said that Bundy may have a psychological edge against you, having put you in hospital once before. Now, this is a steel cage. How do you feel?
Well, you know something awful, Alfred. There's a lot of rumors going around, man, that the Hulkster's all busted up and laid up. So what? This is for the world's heavyweight title. We've been living this Hulkamania thing one day at a time. And now that we got so many believers, so many new generations to follow, it's gonna live forever. So awful Alfred Hayes, even if I had to crawl to the ring with one good arm, brother, I'd still climb in that cage, man. I'd still stand behind this world title like a man. And as far as that long, slow, rolling ride in that coffin, so-called ambulance, I've been thinking about it night and day, brother. I've been thinking about the animosity, the way I feel, the aggressiveness. And when I step in that cage with the whole world watching, man, Wrestlemania 2, Hulkamania running it wild around the world, I kind of feel sorry for King Kong Bundy. I'm going to take all those feelings of him, slap those feelings around, take away his pride, man, and put the pride back in the world title. Because I'm climbing out of that cage. I'm going to win that match, and all I can hope for is Bobby the Weasel Heenan. Please stick your nose in my business.
Everybody's feelings, we say good luck to you in your title defense.
Man.
Hogan says that the rumours don't matter. Hulkamania will live forever. He will crawl with one arm if he needs be and climb the cage. He says he feels sorry for Bundy because he's going to slap him around, and he says he wants Bobby Heenan to get involved. Hulk Hogan.
I've got a feeling this is the promo we wanted to have with Ventura, but he thought, Lord Al won't step on my left line.
Lord Al didn't go, I don't know whether Hogan's going to be okay.
I don't think Bobby Heenan will get involved.
Any thoughts on second Hulk Hogan promo?
No, we need two.
We get three.
It was okay.
We do.
He ain't full cartoon yet.
No. He ain't coke yet. He ain't full of coke.
Yeah,
no, he's just Weed Hogan at the minute. Weed Hogan. He's not quite on the coke.
Oh God, crazy people next. It is the Funks.
The crazy.
It is Terry Funk and Hoss Funk, who I honestly didn't know who Hoss Funk was until I saw this match. I thought Hoss Funk was someone other than it is.
Because they do replace one of the Funks. But it's Terry Funk they replace with Jimmy Jack Funk.
Do they?
Yeah, and they rename Hoss back to who he is.
Dory.
Yeah. That's later on.
Annoying.
But I don't know, he probably had a sick Hoss or something. Right, Terry had to leave.
It's Terry Funk and Dory Funk, otherwise known as Hoss Funk for some reason, and they are going up against...
Is he a Hoss?
No.
Is Dory Funk a Hoss?
No, he always looks old, doesn't he, Dory Funk? He's always looking
he looks like he needs a blanket and a cup of tea.
He's got the Arn Anderson head, and where he's always looked like an old man.
He looks tired. Obviously.
He looks tired.
He does.
Oh, you get that on a t-shirt. Dory Funk, he looks tired.
He's a nice man, but just go away.
I know which one it caused the most problems for the Funk household growing up. It's Terry and Dory.
Terry, stop slapping them all.
And they definitely have got different dads. I mean, they've got different heads, for God's sake. So they are going up against the tag team, which we actually get our next piece of music. It's The Bump. Mm-hmm. It is the Junk Food Dog and his tag team partner, Tito Santana. Again, did they pull this team out of a hat?
I think
Was it because they was on the cartoon together?
Could have been.
They've got chemistry. Vince probably watched that cartoon and thought they've got chemistry, them two.
We ain't got Snooker, so we've got to have...
well,
yeah,
I think
exactly.
Mr. Snooker was in some...
He was in the AWA, I think.
Deep doo-doo.
Darth Vader more bothered.
Put him on.
We've got nobody else.
So, Terry Funk is pissed outside and tosses in steel chairs. Hoss Funk is in to hook up with JYD and lays in shots, but Terry Funk spills in and gets Dory tossed into him. The Funks are body slammed and bail to the outside. Tito and Terry are in to reset. Terry gets the initial offense, but eventually is clotheslined over the top ropes. Hoss Funk fares no better, and once again the faces hold the ring. This is the third spot where they've knocked him to the outside. We've only been going a minute. JYD gets the tag and lays in punches and a face plant onto Terry. Like the first tag, it's all the faces. Terry is once again tossed to the outside, and once again the match has to restart. Hoss Funk finally gets some offense for the heels and lays in uppercuts, and it leads to Tito's forearm as they're back on top. Jesus! Terry has to break up a near fall. There's a nice old school crisscross which allows the dastardly heel knee to the back of Tito. This allows Jimmy Hart, who's the manager of the Funks I should say, to lay in some stomps to the outside. Elvira gets angry at the existence of Jimmy Hart. Dave Hebner and Funk get into a pushing match, and Triple H goes, I like that spot.
I'll do that a lot.
Tito reverses a suplex. Hoss keeps Tito isolated, and a big leg drop by Terry Funk gets a 2, followed by a big headbutt. Tito, though, scurries. I love that scurry. You can't catch me. And makes the hot tag, and the crowd do pop for the JYD, who is nothing but over. Double knock into the Funks. JYD back body drops Funk to the outside and then slams Terry Funk onto the table. And the crowd chant ECW. Funk sells the leg as JYD slaps Jimmy Hart down. The match now completely chaotic. No one knows what the bloody hell the finish is. Jimmy Hart just saves us all by doing the same finish he will do for the next 5 years. Throws a megaphone to the heel. They waffle JYD, who is kind enough to take the fall. And the loss. I'll just put literally way too long. Too many restarts, far too chaotic at the end. JYD's over. They all are okay, but it was a bit messy. So
it was a bit messy, but did you hear the fan when the Funks was outside shout, "Go back to the NWA"?
Yeah, I did.
I heard some fan shout the NWA to the Funks.
That's brilliant.
Oh, what a smark.
ECW.
And this is in LA?
Yeah.
Surely they'd have been NWA, but I don't know, did this need to be a tag match? Spoiler with Murray, but yeah, they're all good, but not together.
It didn't. You didn't come out thinking that now the Funks are close to to a tag team shot or anything. It just didn't feel right.
I'm pretty sure Terry Funk fights Hogan on a Saturday Night's Main Event already done that for the belt.
I know they fight the Orndorff and Hogan on one.
But I'm pretty sure on one of it, unless it's the second one, which would have been 85, so he would have already fought Hogan for the world belt.
Should have given him the belt. Jack?
Yeah, it's a bit too. There's too much going on. I think. I understand the premise of what they're trying to achieve, but there's a lot of fucking stuff thrown in the pot, and it's all done together, and it's come out a bit weird. I've got no surprise whatsoever that Tito goes at the fall. I don't think he's ever been pinned at this point because he will not.
About to beat Taker too.
I was surprised that he took the fall. To be fair, I think Terry Funk looks like the one who can do something out of this.
Yes, yeah.
But they're all good, but it just didn't quite click.
Just too messy.
Too much going on.
Looked good on paper, and it's just not an execution.
Not for me. Sub-main event. Thumbs down. After replays, we see the cage being bought out for our main event. I love the old cage.
I did look at this.
God, bring it out.
I'm sure there was still an hour left.
Oh, yeah.
Hang on, in this match he's only got 50. Oh, it's probably because they got to put up the cage.
That is right, that is. I actually made my lunch at work during the build of this. Just watched it back.
Build of the match or build of the cage?
Well, I know I could watch the match and then rewind it to work out what I missed. So we have to stall for time, so we see Hogan working out with Hillbilly Jim and some doctor, who's not a very good doctor, I'll tell you nothing, because he says he shouldn't be doing that, whilst telling him to carry on doing it.
Don't do it, but do it.
So basically, if you go to the doctors with broke ribs, they'll tape your ribs up and say, Ian, pick up this 500-pound weight.
Here, have some ear weights.
Fucking Dr. Perry goes on and says, you can do it.
Oh dear. Mean Gene shows a Saturday night's main event where Bundy attacked Hogan, hitting him with avalanches and splashes. Hulkamaniac Doctor tells Mean Gene Hogan should pull out of the match. Great. Hogan sells the injuries and he wants to do heavy chins.
What the fuck is a heavy chin?
It's Jimmy Hill, isn't it? I think.
Go on your arm,
Oh my God.
The weight is locked round his neck and he does chin-ups. Oh, but fuck me, he pulls some faces when he does his chin-ups. Amazing. Mean Gene does his best to sell how powerful Hulk Hogan is, and he says Bundy is his in the cage. Final Hogan promo. We now go to the heel promo, which is being done by Jesse Ventura. Heenan and Bundy are backstage. Heenan, who literally drove from the hospital the night before with a broken neck.
Yeah.
At this point,
I heard that.
And he was told if he didn't get there, he would be fired. Bear in mind what happens. Remember what happens at the end.
Yeah, because he go in for neck surgery.
Yeah.
And he discharged himself, went back, and then after this went back to the hospital.
Had the surgery.
Yeah. So maybe he just got out of bed, got dressed, left the hospital, went, did the show, come back, took all his stuff off.
That doesn't, and he probably isn't going to win MVP. And he literally broke his neck to make the show. Unbelievable. It does feel a little bit off, I must admit, on this promo. It isn't his best promo.
No.
Bundy says that every time they fight, Hogan ends up in the hospital, which is a good line. And he says that he'll be the next world champion. Heenan stumbles around a bit to try and say something, but he just doesn't. It doesn't come off. Jesse obviously gets the final word, saying that Hogan is in the fight of his life. Elvira is doing the links now. Not me, not Al. Get to her, get a ticket in. She sends us to New York. They hype up the match a little bit more. Finally, for goodness sake, after 25 minutes, we are ready for the main event. The special announcer is the LA Dodgers manager, Tommy Lasorda. He announces our timekeeper is Ricky Schroeder from the show Silver Spoons.
Who the fuck is he?
Not a clue.
Why is he hot dogging and getting in and everything?
Boo the shit out of him.
And you can see him smiling, going on. Don't really want to do this.
Yeah. He has to sit on a toilet later though and kiss Bishop. The referee for the match, which doesn't have a referee, is Robert Conrad, who, I mean, he gets a pop. They all love Robert Conrad. Don't know what he is, but love him. We're told that this is an escape-style steel cage match. Not sure that's the right thing to do, but whatever. Bundy gets the challenger's entrance and he's out with Heenan. Bundy, to me, always looks poorly. He looks ill, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He always looks ill. He's got weird dark eyes.
His face changes by the time from here to when you see him in '94.
He still
It's
looks
sort
ill.
of like his face, sort of like he's trying to escape his head.
I don't get
No, it like sticks out. Because at the minute it's like
looks
got
like
a
him
proper...
out of Beetlejuice.
Yeah. Because I mean, he got like a fuller face in '94.
You have a
Look
weird
at
way
him!
of-
Look at him! Look at
I'm
him!
going to put two images next to each other. They look exactly the same.
No, they don't be. Damn it!
He's a big man without being a big man. It's a weird.
He is an egg.
Yeah,
He's an
completely.
egg in a singlet.
That's the problem at this point, is that the right person for Hogan to be fighting is face and winning a battle royal, because you need someone
But
larger
there
than
was a
life to
few-
put Hogan over.
Different people who would have fought, but
There was a lot of people in contention.
yeah,
wasn't
to
there?
fight Hogan, which was
We'll run through them at the end.
okay.
When we compare what we get. So we get the iconic image pretty much from the show of Hogan on top of the cage,
Yeah.
pulling his shirt, which is good. And look, you say what you will about Mr. Hogan, and we could say a lot about Mr. Hogan. He is over like Rover.
I don't
There is
know, I
no
don't know.
one more
I don't know. I think he's still trying to find himself.
Well, he is so. I mean, ladies are crying. I mean, literally screaming. It's unbelievable. There's a big fight feel to the match, but there's an early big boot by Hogan. Should just escape.
That was a bit strange.
And then we get to know quickly who is the heel of the match, as Hogan chokes Bundy with his singlet. Big corner lariat and multiple chops, and the first few minutes has been all Hogan. The axe bomber staggers Bundy, but he blocks a cage charge and lays in a stiff kick to the belly welly. There's big slams and Bundy stomps Hogan. Bundy goes to leave, but Hogan dives and grabs the leg. Bundy charges Hogan into the cage, which is good. That was a nice charge, I must admit. And once again, Hogan stops the escape. Bundy exposes the taped ribs, which Alvara thinks is clothes. She can't understand. They're checking his clothes up.
Taking a photo. Yeah, everybody has tape around the midsection.
Jesse continues to try and explain the rules. Bundy ties Hogan up in the ropes, which is a nice spot, but also you can't not look stupid now, Bundy, because he's got to just win. If you can't tie him up, why do it? I mean, we saw that with the cable ties in TNA. Stupid. It doesn't work. But Hogan again blocks the escape. Hogan corners Bundy and bloodies Bundy's head, tossing him headfirst into the cage. Alvara wants the match stopped. She sees Hulk as he's the heel, beating the piss out of a bloodied man. Love that. Heel Hogan stomps on the head of Bundy. Hogan can't hold Bundy up for the slam. Love a Bale Hogan slam. And crashes to the
Did
match.
this with every fat man, Dave. Did it with Earth.
I like the fact that Hogan found a way to do a match. Man. Doing it
one match, that's it. Right?
And yet Flair does the same. People don't have a go at it.
No. Yeah, Flair sometimes gets the chair. Sometimes he jumps off the top. Most of the time he doesn't. Again, Bundy goes to escape, but once again, he can't escape in time. Jesse calls out Hogan again for choking Bundy with a rib tape. Lauderdale calls the avalanche, and it's the best.
Bundy, if he hits him with an avalanche!
He's got the best call for an avalanche. Avalanche! Every
What's
time.
going on? Once he hits him, he shouts.
Amazing. That could be mid-conversation. He's talking like this. Avalanche! Brilliant. Absolutely amazing. I love at Lauderdale. Amazing. Big splash follows, and Hulk is completely staggered. Hulk, though, recovers again enough to block the escape. Another great avalanche call, but Hogan, no sell. Complete and utter no sell. And he hits a scoop slam. Big leg drop, which Lauderdale incorrectly calls a knee drop, but whatever. Hogan climbs the cage, but Heenan tries to block the escape. Bundy is kicked off the top rope for our mega spot of the night. He falls from the top rope down, and Hogan climbs out the cage, escapes, and defends his world title in the main event. Inside, just to wrap us up, Heenan gets trapped in the cage, and with a broken neck, takes a bump into the cage and an atomic drop through the cage doors, which allows Hogan to pose to end the show.
Yeah.
I'll leave you till last because you love Hogan, Jack.
Yeah, the cage thing was the problem for this match.
Yes, right.
Because the escape rule doesn't make any sense when the heel wants to keep him in, and the face, in the sense, wants to stay in. So why would they have the escape rule? If it was just the pin, pinned, then it could have worked, because then you've got the added of the cage and we're going to throw you into it. But when it's Bundy's got to try and escape and Hogan's got to dive for him, it made it look a bit comical at times.
I think the cage works like when Orndorff and Hogan, which are pretty evenly matched and very similar skill sets,
Keep everyone out.
Keep Heenan out and the family out. But the key thing here is the build has been that Bundy can beat the living shit out of Hogan. Yeah. So it isn't in Hogan. So obviously the jeopardy is all on Hogan because he's in the cage. And then Bundy constantly tries to escape.
Why would he?
Yeah, but all his offense then looks weaker because he can't keep Hogan down enough to just escape. It would have been better for him if he'd have had the jeopardy of just beating the living shit out of Hogan and having a standard Hogan, push out, shake your head, slam, leg drop, let's all go home happy and pose. Yeah.
Was this the first time they used this cage as well? This blue cage? I think it was. What?
It's called. They call it
reinforced,
and it was called the Bundy cage after this for a while.
Really?
In the wrestling circles, they called it the Bundy cage.
Oh, okay. Because fat.
Don't think that was added.
Sam?
I don't mind the match, but yeah, as you say,
I thought it was better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Oh, it's easy to watch.
It's easy to watch.
The bits that you
but as you say, it's quite forgettable when you look at other Hogan matches at Mania. The only thing that makes it memorable is the cage. The fact that it's the only Mania match that's happened in a cage.
Well, you imagine Hogan Andre next year in a cage.
Well, that's the thing, eh?
They did that on house shows instead.
Bundy can move 10 times more than Andre could at WrestleMania 3, but the Andre match pisses all over.
Oh, with that shit.
Because the cage just cripples the match.
Yeah. It was one of those. So there you have it. We have wrapped up all four. I'm going to ask you a set of questions, but the first thing I'm going to ask you is 3 segments. We've got from New York. We've got the matches Don Morocco, Paul Orndorff. We've got let me have
the IC title match.
The IC title match.
We've got the George Wells squash match.
Yeah, and then you've got the main event of the boxing match. Then, from Chicago, you've got Velvet, McIntyre and Moolah. Got Kirchner and Volkov, but then you do have the Battle Royal and the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
And then you have the steadier card, I would say, of Hercules and Anders Steamboat, Adrian Adonis and Uncle Elmer, the Funks and JYD and Santana, and the main event. So I'm going to throw to both of you and ask, which one would you have preferred to go to out of the 3? New York, Chicago, or LA?
Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago. Yeah.
Definitely Chicago for me. And I suppose that leads into match of the night. So, Jack?
The tag title match.
Bulldogs Dream Team 2.
Yeah, Bulldogs match.
Worst match, there might be a different sort of opinion. So, Jack?
I can't pick Elmer. I mean, I don't expect anything from Elmer. I'm going to go with the boxing match because it just disappoints at every level. And it's the main match.
Surprisingly, it does make it 2-0.
I'm going to go with Morocco Orndorff, the first match. Because of how this is how you start the match, and it's the only match they got a bullshit.
Bad enough.
And the fact that they had to wait until the next match to tell you what the outcome was.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and you look after Hogan, is he number 2? Babyface, Orndorff.
Well, was at this time, yeah.
At this point, yeah, because that's how the
Morocco was with Bundy, wasn't he? So
yeah, because that's who Hogan was fighting when Bundy injured him.
Jesus.
Silly, isn't it? MVP?
Oh, dear.
Where's the beef lady?
It's got to be with a chance. It's got to be up there. Don't forget, this is Celebrity Mania, so
I'm
you know.
gonna, where's the beef? I got a bloody, what's her name? Claire Bello. Not a name. I'm gonna go with. God, is the one?
It's definitely one. His name's Lou Albano, isn't it? That's what it is.
I'm gonna go with.
If you think of WrestleMania 2, I think there's only one person.
Hulk Hogan?
No.
Bundy.
It's William Perry.
Well, I was thinking
for me,
Will, but then I thought Greg.
Greg's a shout.
Because
we're
I
in ring.
Dynamite.
Work.
Dynamite's a shout.
Dynamite's amazing just because it's real thing for Dynamite. No one's told him.
Or then football players who thought it's real damage.
I'm going to go with the fridge.
Yeah,
I
think it's got to be the fridge. It's got to be the
or
fridge.
whatever, the fridge. Oh, he was a
Because
backup
other than
for
Hogan, he probably got the biggest pop.
And like I say, there's money now. Going from here, Hogan's your champ, and the next biggest person in the company is the fridge. LVP. Oh, there's a lot to choose from here. LVP.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Dan Spivey.
Oh no!
Yeah.
What? I suppose he is the most inconsequential man.
You'd forget he was in it.
Well,
I know there's a lot of celebrities.
I put Mr. T because he was gassed and did nothing for the product, or Susan St. James because she is literally the worst commentator I've ever heard.
Well, she don't know the
Uh-oh.
product.
Sam.
The actual concept of doing it in 3 fucking arenas, just do it in one place.
Well, I want an
I know
LVP,
you want-
so I want a person. Your headline can be that. Because
Called an arena.
that is a
Vince.
spoiler. Vince is your
Vince were
LVP.
coming up with this stupid shit.
Well, yeah, I mean, you've given me your headline. My headline is a flawed concept with far too many celebrities and not enough content.
Where's the beef? Yeah.
Where's the
Would you
sense?
agree?
Bad concept.
Yeah. So there you have it.
Flat.
We now.
I wonder how many of us have booked in 3 arenas.
I have, because I've kept it to what they would have done.
Well, you're an idiot.
And I have as well.
I haven't.
At that point, you didn't know it would fail.
It's up to you, but
But I've got sense.
I'm booking it as if I had the book leading up to Mania 2.
we now take the opportunity to rebook WrestleMania 2 and do it better. Some of us have rebooked it completely,
Yeah.
arena and all. Sam's already outside taking tickets. So I am going to open us up because I have done the 3 arenas. I think it was a reasonable concept to try. I can understand why he tried it. I understand why he didn't ever do it again either. But I'm going to try and stay true to that concept. So mine would open up in New York. My opener would be the Hart Foundation versus the Killer Bees, because I think that's the pace match, good tag team match. Hart Foundation go over as your credible next contenders. Next match would be Ricky Steamboat versus Terry Funk, because of the roster, that sounds like a good match to me. I would put over Ricky Steamboat as your next credible Intercontinental Champion. Next match, probably misplaced really in thinking about it, but it would be the Bulldogs versus the Dream Team. And I would have exactly the same match, and I love the Bulldogs going over. It's exactly the right thing. I would probably have the Art Foundation and the Bulldogs in the same arena, although they were anyway at the Battle Royal in Chicago, just so you could potentially tease them at the end of the match or in a skit backstage. And my main event at that part of the show would be Paul Orndorff versus Cowboy Bob Orton, which plays into my main event a bit, because they've been separated from Mr. Piper, which gives you an idea of who is in the main event. But I would put over Orndorff, and Mr. T's the ref, by the way, in that. My next card from Chicago opens up in a hot way, because it is Uncle Elmat versus Adrian Adonis, which I've kept in because I can't think of a better way to use either of them than that.
Don't.
Well, maybe. But I think, you know...
I've used it.
And bear in mind, I have booked Macho and George Steele away, so I've kept that as my comedy match. Adonis goes over. Next match, Jake Roberts versus Hillbilly Jim. Hillbilly's a good enough mid-card to go over for Jake. Jake's cleverer than these thick... No, but he's cleverer than the thick hillbillies, so, you know, he's conniving and creepy, and he gets the sneaky DDT win. Next match, Intercontinental title match, Macho Man versus Tito Santana. Which is the right match because ultimately they've been feuding in the build to it. Macho Man cements that he is the IC title with a clean enough win over Tito, who will complain in the back. The first ever Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal goes along without a hitch. I haven't gone through all 20. Needless to say, those that I've taken out of the match will be replaced by people like George Wells and people of that ilk. But it would be
Is it the football players you took out?
No, I'd keep the football players. I thought they played into it. In fact, I'd probably put a couple more in. But I would definitely have the Will Ferry spot, and Andre would win. Moving on to LA, which is opened up by Hercules Hernandez versus Corporal Kirchner. And this is mainly to put a lot of heat onto Herc, because I want Herc, out of everyone, has got the potential to be a 3-month heel for Hogan. Yeah. Give him a win.
When did we see Saturday Night's main event? Was that 86?
He was around then, because he was very white. But, it was around then.
Quite with gas.
With Hogan's face.
I would have the women's title match as a bit of a cool down spot going into our last two, so I'd have Moolah go over Velvet McIntyre. My main sub-main event is the JYD versus King Kong Bundy. I don't think Bundy was ready for Hogan at this point, even though he had his 9 seconds win a year before. I think he needs more credibility in the win, and I think beating JYD in a relative squash match would do him no harm for, again, another run at Hogan when he's ready. And the main event for me, which was built for the last 5 years in the WWE, it seems, has to be Roddy Piper versus Hulk Hogan. I would have it in the cage, because then it makes more sense for it to be in the cage because of Piper. And I would also have it for Piper's career, because if you know Piper's going to leave for 4 months, because I think he
did it. Like retired every Mania, I think.
But I would definitely have it for his career, and I would, just to put some jeopardy in the fans' minds that they ain't, like, you know, Piper, they're going to retire Piper, but I would retire Piper until he comes back as face and Hogan, you know, shakes his hand and, you know,
teams with it. Because they did team with each other after he come back.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. And Hogan will go over. So therefore, I think I've won. But I'll go to you next.
Oh, you'll like mine.
Here we go.
By the fact that you won't.
70 match card.
15 matches.
15 matches.
5
on
each.
each.
And
I've got 8 matches.
You took like 4 off.
Well, mine's in one arena.
Don't matter. You could have still got to now. Nowadays they have 15 matches in one arena. It takes 4 days.
3 hours.
Mine's better.
And I'm starting with LA and I'm ending with New York.
It was the other way around.
The time difference. So you start at 7.
I'll switch it around. Well, you know, it don't matter. They can start it early.
That was the main reason I could see, because they was following the US and look at the time. Do it. I love the fact that New York have to wait up till 1 o'clock in the morning to watch.
I mean, bloody hell, imagine if it was like there when the Brits have to wait to watch it. Jesus Christ.
It's on New York time anyway,
Yeah, but if it's 3 hours in front, New York to LA.
Yeah.
Then when it's 6 o'clock in New York, it's 3 o'clock in LA. Yeah. So if you then finish at 5 o'clock.
LA started early though, don't we? LA's pay-per-views start like 4 till 7, don't they?
Because of New York, yeah.
So they'll start at 4.
Okay.
So New York would still finish at 10.
But I have to sit there in the dark, in the tired, watching the screen.
You ain't really thought this through. I'm fucking Mecca.
I like it.
The Abbey New York's last. LA's first.
See, this is why I have booked it in one arena.
Stop being so large of a country then and splitting up.
I've booked it in
Jack's fucking
America.
Jack booked one in Australia, then the next one in Tokyo.
I don't think that's that bad, but you ain't had the card yet.
Go on then, let's listen to your card.
You'll fucking love all of it.
Gonna
First
be
match,
crazy,
Intercontinental title, Macho Man, Randy Savage versus George the Animal Steel. I wouldn't change a lot.
That's
Savage,
your opener.
Yeah, and Savage goes over.
I'm going home.
Now, that's in LA. You can go home at 4 o'clock. You can go home and have your tea. Next match.
She go up and have your fruit.
Sheegan Volkov versus the Rougeau brothers.
Are they on the card? Are they in the pro?
They are in the company at this point.
And
they
like-
aren't. They haven't got a gimmick. They are just the Rougeaus. They are faces.
Okay.
So they are going over by DQ.
I like that better than the Killer Bees option now. I wish I'd have got them rid of them. But
Now you are like this. Ricky Steamboat fights
Uncle Elm.
Mr. X.
Oh, the jobber.
Yeah.
Oh, Jack.
Go on, Ricky. Go and do the job match.
Go on, Ricky.
Did they have that match at Mania 1?
I've got 15
No, it was Tito v the Executioner and Buddy Rose in a match. Because the
Mr. X is
booker...
on here a lot.
Yeah.
I know he was on a lot. I saw him. I just chose to put him in
I
the
like
Battle Royal.
He nearly beat Action Man, so he's going to get off. It's fighting Steamboat. And then the next match you'll like even more because it's Jake Roberts versus SD Jones.
Oh,
but I'm going to try and beat the 9 seconds, which ain't hard because it wore 9 seconds.
No, it was 24.
But I would build SD to have a promo to say, you know, he lost in 9 seconds last year, he ain't going to do it again.
Is he in the Hall of Fame?
SD. He went in the Legacy recently.
Yeah.
He inducted Tony Atlas, but he did do in the Legacy.
I ain't even finished LA yet at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And the last match of LA is the boxing match. Piper v. Mr.
Still
T.
keeping that?
Well, I got to because he fought Bob in a boxing match.
No,
in the build, so I've left that.
I've booked out
I only
the build. Because if I just allow the build to happen, I've got to rebook the show.
We ain't going to do that. But I'm keeping that. Because Mr. T is going to be featured, and he ain't going to wrestle. Mr. T goes over by DQ. Then the Chicago show, the second one, which is now at 8 o'clock, the Fridge fights Big John Studd, one-on-one.
Yeah.
They got a battle royal. No, none of that shit. The Fridge is going to go over as well.
Yeah.
Do the job of Big John. Women's title match.
Fridge is beating Big John.
Yeah.
That ain't happening.
It is.
Big John.
Big
Quick.
John. Stop. You got slammed last
Vincent had
year,
promised him
and he gets slammed
the
this
Rumble
year.
win in 89.
Might be a body slam contest, I don't know. I'll
Okay.
decide on the day.
He lost that.
The women's titles next. The same. Moolah v Velvet McIntyre. No wardrobe malfunction. We're going to go 5 minutes at least. Have a good match. Next, 6-man tag.
Hang on. 6-man tag.
6-man tag. Heart Foundation and Adrian Adonis versus JYD, Tito, and Andre. Andre ain't going to do a lot of work.
No.
Tito can bump around. Adrian Adonis, I think,
Very
was
good.
doing a little bit with Andre around that point.
I think you're probably right. He looks like the kind of bloke that
So, and obviously the face is going over because Andre is there. He ain't going to do a lot, but he can have his Mania match. The next match you'll all love, and I hate one and I love the other. Corporal Kirshner. This is just to come down fourth on the thing before the main event. Corporal Kirshner is fighting Iron Mike Sharp.
You're putting him over, Iron Mike, obviously.
Well, Iron Mike never won, so
He's always walked off.
So you've given him a Mania payday?
Yeah.
He'll be grateful
Iron
for
Mike
him.
can give me a heel. Foreigner.
He'll feed his
Tag-
family on that for the next 10 years.
I love Mike. He's going to have a Mania payday. Tag title match, Dream TV and the Bulldogs. Nothing changes. I wasn't going to have him in the cage. The Bulldogs go over, obviously.
Yeah.
No, don't.
I'd be
take it.
surprised if any of us booked that out of existence.
And then the final one in New York at 2 o'clock in the morning, we got Don Morocco versus Hillbilly Jim.
Yeah.
And I would want a double count out.
Who versus Hillbilly Jim?
Don Morocco.
Don Morocco.
Yeah.
So again,
Keep
even
them both.
in this universe, Don Morocco escapes getting pinned.
Yeah, because I want to keep Hillbilly slightly strong, because I think Hillbilly can do something. Because I like Hillbilly.
No, and so do I. I mean, when I put him over, I'm putting Jake over Hot because I do actually think Hillbilly's a higher level talent.
Yeah, please. Next is the Funk Brothers, Terry and Dory, versus the Killer Bees.
Yeah.
And the Funks go over. Clean.
Got no problems with that.
Next match, Paul Orndorff versus Bob Orton.
Okay, yeah, I had that, so come on.
Paul Orndorff goes over. Sub-main, so you should come down a little bit. This is why it's going to be in New York, really. It's Bruno.
Yeah, I thought about having Bruno
versus Herc.
You putting over Herc?
No, I'm putting over Bruno. It's in New York. It's Bruno. It's his last hurrah, and Herc.
I ain't quite sure that's going to be a come down spot though, because
no,
I think
it could be big, but Herc.
And Hogan wouldn't want that because Hogan would think I ain't getting less
Hogan's
pop
got a cage.
unless he ain't in the show.
I know. He fucked out the world. No, it's Bundy Elmer in the cage.
I can't work tonight, brother.
Who's climbing up that? Elmer's on the top, tearing his thing. Tearing his Robin Hood out.
The main match.
Maybe we should make this a pinfall cage.
Hogan Bundy with no escape. It's pin only.
Lock the door.
Yeah, no escape, so we can properly have a match, have a little bit of blood. It's in New York. Hogan wins. Then it makes sense for him to hot dog in the cage because it's still in it. And he goes
going
over.
back in.
So that's my Mania 2.
Well,
more Iron Mike Sharp and Mr. X was needed.
You've told Sam off, and you literally could have writ off at least 5 of your matches as squash matches.
Iron Mike Sharp got a payday. Mr. X got on. I love George Wells and they didn't even book him. Took him off for SD.
Poor George Wells. Sam, round us out.
Okay, so firstly, I would only book this in Chicago, and there's reasons for this. Because this links in with some of the matches. So I'll book it in Chicago.
It's Dave Frelick, is it?
No, the fridge. No, it's the freezer. But the first match, I would keep. These are in any particular order. I've just written this way.
Yeah.
Steamboat v. Herc. Because
Okay.
Steamboat can get the crowd hot, and
It certainly wasn't the most.
or the worst. Have a clean finish. Don't have the crowd chanting bullshit. So that would be the first match. And I'd probably put Steamboat over because then you could carry him on with Savage.
Yeah.
The next match would be 1-on-1, JYD v Terry Funk. Because in all honesty, just that Terry Funk on his own over there. Because he's mental and he's brilliant. And I think that was the main feud, really. So just
was it the feud? Was that?
I think that was sort of the main feud, but they just added things around it. Because I'm sure Hogan teamed with JYD against the Funks in like Canada or something. So have that. If you want to put JYD over, you're free. Because I'm sure Terry Funk left not long after this. He went back to NWA.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was.
Or his Os was ill.
Pile driving Flair.
Yeah. So the next match would be a battle royal. It would be 20 man, and I would actually, in the build up to this on Saturday night's main event, SD Jones would be booked in it, and he would fight Big John Studd, and have this in Chicago. Big John Studd would then take out SD Jones, and you could have the fridge there, like in the audience watching it, and then he would take his place in the battle royal, so it's 19 wrestlers and the fridge. And you could do the whole thing with him and Studd because he took out his friend SD Jones in the battle royal. I have actually wrote down all 20 of it.
Go on then.
If you want to write. So
here we go. Settle yourself.
Andre's winning it. But you got Andre, Brett, Anvil, Bruno, Iron Sheik, Spivey, Studd, the fridge, replacing SD Jones, Adrian Adonis, Uncle Elmer, Hillbilly Jim, Nikolai Volkov, Tony Atlas, Pedro Morales, Don Morocco, King Kong Bundy, Corporal Kirshner, Brian Blair, Jim Brunzell, and Tonga.
There's a lot of meat in that.
Yeah, and majority face.
They all roll to the back.
But, I thought just put him in, get rid of a lot of the celebs and the football players, but keep the fridge because he did it. And if
you got rid of Russ Martin in his PE team.
Because they take it a bit too serious. But at least you could do a bit of a build-up saying it's in Chicago, so you can have a Saturday night's main event. Take SD Jones out or something. So you can have the fridge in it. At least it gives that match a bit of a story with him and Stud as well.
Yeah.
So that's why I thought I could take the fridge out. So that's a way of getting him in it. And you've got that celeb in a match because no doubt Vince would have wanted that. Because it's the early days of Mania.
Yeah.
The next match would be Jake v Tito. Jake's debuting. Or just debuted, and in all honesty, you can have Tito.
I did think about Jake Tito.
So you can have, and sorry Tito, even at this point, people know I know where your career's going. Jake would win.
Tito lost on all of our cards, didn't he?
No, he wouldn't, man, in the 6-man tag.
Oh, yeah, he did.
I would have Jake win. I mean, you could even have a little bit of a storyline with him doing later on. The next match would be Piper v Orndorff.
Yeah.
Orton would be with Piper, Mr. T would be with Orndorff, and you could lead this in because obviously Orndorff turned face because Piper blamed him because he took the pin at Mania 1. Carry on that feud and have it go later on.
Okay.
So just have it go off here.
So you've had Piper versus Orndorff?
Orndorff.
You're trying to work out who was in his main event team.
Well, I've changed it while he was talking, so yeah.
So I'm settling myself. Get the popcorn.
So that's who would be. No, Dom's in the battle royal. I've said he's
big. Okay, go on, carry on.
I've said Irk. He's
fighting Steamboat. Sorry. Double duty.
Yeah. The next match, the tag title match, keep that the same. IC title match, I would keep that the same because you can link.
This is going to be amazing.
No, it ain't going to be. So the answer to that.
That's Bill.
No, it's Orton. Sorry. Bob Orton, because he's only in the corner of Piper, but you can still link it in with Hogan, Piper, and Orton because Orton.
No one wants Hogan, Bob. Everybody wants Hogan, Piper.
Yeah, but Bob can still bump around.
He got laid though because he got HIV or whatever it is.
That's true.
No one would believe Bob would win.
Well, but you could link it in that he wasn't in the match at Mania.
I don't think it would matter who fought Hogan.
Exactly, whoever fought him, he was going to lose anyway.
If it was Mr. X.
The Hogan.
I ain't quite sure it would.
No. I initially put Bundy and had Orton in the battle royal, but when you was talking, I thought I could change this around because he was right. I don't think Bundy was properly ready. But Orton, you've still got the story that he wasn't in the main event. He was only the corner man at Mania 1. So you could say, well, Hogan beat the others and didn't beat him, and you could still link Hogan in with their other feud.
Well, I was at one point considering Snooker.
God!
But he got
to me for every day at 3 o'clock in the morning.
I think that was one of the things that wanted to try and get Hogan.
Yeah, I'm sure I've read that somewhere. That's Snooker and Hogan.
The key to collar for
him.
Did you have Volkov on your show?
Yeah, he was in Tech Match with Sheep against the Rougeos.
Did you?
He was in the Battle Royal.
Yeah, I'll put mine in the Battle Royal as well. I like how we've ended on Volkov. But if you would have rebooked WrestleMania 2, any different?
Hang on, I said who wins.
Sorry, who wins? Orndorff.
Orndorff.
Oh, I know, but I think Orndorff would say to Bob, who's like, go on.
Then he gets big bootleg drop and lose as well.
But if you would have had the big yellow monster against someone else in the main event, do let us know on our website, which is bettercallcreative.com, or on Twitter, which is @BCCPod, or on Facebook, which is facebook.com/BCCPod. We round out the episode, as we always do, and we are going Celebrity Mania. But 80s style and very UK-centric. I do warn the US, buckle yourself in. Because...
Not the rest of the countries, like Ukraine.
No, they know. They know. But it is...
Europe, we stick together.
It is rock and wrestling going up against 80s sports stars of our choice. So you may have picked, Phallic and whatever his name is. Fralic. That's what he thought his name was.
Bill Peters.
But 6 matches, and I am going to throw to you first, Sam, to open us up.
And my first match is a hair match.
He's got gimmicks.
I did this one. No, second one. The first match is Brutus Beefcake versus Kevin Keegan.
You ain't touching his hair. You are not touching the gorgeous perm of Kevin Keegan. I'm not having it.
No, you're shaving Brutus Bald.
Yeah, I want to see what he looked like, particularly when
Yeah,
first
he's nasty. He
disintegrated.
always shaves the head of other
He
people.
don't have a bald barber.
Yeah,
Well,
but can you imagine when his face disintegrated when he got balded? What did it look like? He
Might
just
go
look
back
like
in 6 years.
He'd just be a neck.
just look like a neck. Love it. And so I assume Kevin Keegan gives it one for the sports stars.
Was he playing for Liverpool at this point, or was he playing for Southampton in the 80s?
I
So
think, a bit about, I
like
think he started at, I think he might have been Hamburg at the start of the 80s. 81, I think he was at Hamburg. And then I think he went to Southampton.
Oh, I'll let him go. Go on.
My first match is the Hearts versus the Diamonds. Yes, it's the Heart Foundation versus Diamond Lights, Hoddle and Waddle.
Oh, no.
Yes!
That's the theme.
That's the theme of the show.
Was he dressed as a clock?
I am going to put over Hoddle and Waddle. I feel like the 80s stars are probably going to get a fair run at this because Hoddle and Waddle are the most perfectly named tag team you could ever have.
Waddle. That's what they're trying to do. Try to compare the name.
Waddle. My first match is a tag match. It's Roddy Piper and Bob Orton versus Kenny Dalglish and Bruce Grobbelaar. This is a Liverpool connection.
What? I've got a feeling a lot of the footballers have been Liverpool.
And it's
Grobbelaar's brawling to the back, mate.
It's all DQ.
It's got to be.
It's all double DQ. Grobbelaar's on his hands.
Every match.
Every match is a brawl.
Oh, what a match.
Zimbabwe. Right, next match. This one made me laugh, but not funny. It's Honky Tonk Man
Oh, God.
versus Ian Both.
Watch back. Both of them. Beefy.
I don't know who to pick here. One's got a bat, one's got a guitar.
Who's going over?
Probably Honky, because he's going to lose on
No
Taylor.
chance Honky's losing.
Yeah, that was a
Well, my next match is Rock versus Roll, because it's the rock star of Honky Tonk Man versus the Roll being the wheel of Nigel Mansell. Tedious links aplenty. And I'm putting over Honky Tonk.
That's tedious.
My match number 2 is Junkyard Dog versus Frank Bruno.
You know what I mean, Harry.
And Frank's going over.
Of course he is.
My next one is a manager's match. Just because I want to hear the promos. It's Bobby Heenan versus Brian Clough.
Now then, brain.
That was the first match I wrote down.
That was the first thing you thought
Yeah.
of. That was Brian Clough, Bobby.
What a match.
Can you imagine the promos with it?
Oh, that should have been your main event. You played your hand too early, didn't
You wait till the main event.
So,
This is hard, yeah. I'm going to put over Heenan. Just.
Oh, Clough well like that. My next match, woman's match, Fabulous Moolah, Fatima Whitbread.
With a cockroach up her nose.
Yeah, of course. The match would be to put a cockroach up your nose, and I'm putting over Fatima Whitbread.
Oh, thank God, I was going to say, Molar's going to go. The cockroaches fell out, I'm going to win now.
My next match.
Pins the cockroach.
My next match is a women's match as well.
Oh.
But it's Wendy Richter versus Martina Navratilova.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's more sense. How can it be more sensible on this card?
And Wendy Richter goes over.
Fair enough. Samuel?
My next match is a tag match.
Player.
And I think you'll like this. It's Demolition versus Eric Bristow and Jockey Wilson.
Oh, there's dissension in that team.
Yeah.
One of them's going through the barbershop window. Who's going home?
It's got to be Demolition, Sammy boys.
My next match is the cocaine match. It is the Macho Man, Randy Savage versus Maradona.
Jesus Christ.
I don't think Maradona's selling that elbow, is
Well, he's got the hand of God, but he is going to be selling to the Macho Man. Macho Man goes over.
My match 4 is Andre the Giant.
Oh, this could be beautiful, this match.
He's going to fight Jack Nicklaus.
it?
A golfer.
The bear in it.
Big Jack.
The golden bear.
It's me, Jack Nicklaus.
Andre's going over.
I thought you had a club to the back of the head.
My next match is Macho Man versus Ian Rush.
Straight. This is a brilliant card, this is.
Exactly. I had fun with it.
Who's going over?
I've got to put Savage over. Sorry, Rush.
My next match is the beef match. It is Uncle Elmer versus Cliff Lazarenko. big fat Cliff Lazarenko. What a man. I'm putting over Cliff.
My match by him is Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov versus a team Sam has used, Eric Bristow and Jockey Mills.
I'm telling you, that core team together.
And,
well, obviously you're likely, lads.
They'll work because Eric and Jockey are going over. They're going to beat.
Does Nikolai,
did they catch the cane?
Oh, and then the throw in the eye. Right in the eye.
Do Nikolai and Sheik do the Soviet anthem up at the hockey with the dartboard behind them, with the raspy voice behind them.
I wish these cards were real.
Right, my next match, slightly cheated, but I'm having it.
Should be a main event.
It's a cage match.
It is your main event.
It is the main event.
Thank you.
With Hogan versus Giant Haystacks, because it's British wrestling.
I did think about having Big Daddy.
It ain't real, you ain't mad.
Yeah,
you wait. You wait for more.
Look, with that blue cage, can you see Giant Haystacks getting his arse into that door?
Oh, that'd have been brilliant, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You'd have to build it around him. And he couldn't leave.
Have his entrance.
And then lose and wait, taking a fall. Oh dear. That's amazing.
And I thought Hogan's going to want to slam somebody. And I thought, Big Daddy ain't slamming him.
I'm sorry, Hogan. Even you ain't slamming that big slab of beef.
That big slab of pork.
Who's going over?
You know what? Haystacks.
Oh, no, that ain't true.
He can climb over.
Yeah, but he's got to wait around then for it to take the cage down.
No, he can, try and climb it, and the things will break, so there'll be a big hole, so he just walk through it. Land on the floor.
Well, my next match is Hulkamania versus Eagle Mania. It's Eddie the Eagle. Because he was really over with the 80s.
I don't know, was he?
Well, so I'm told. I was quite young. He got a film. More than Hogan's got. And I'm going to put over Hulk Hogan.
My last match.
Jack's got a crazy mind.
I have with this one.
It's
but
a
it would be
47
amazing.
battle royal.
Hulk Hogan versus Dennis Taylor.
Yes!
Big Dennis. Little Dennis with his snooker cube to come in. Taking on the Hulkster. And I want to put Dennis over. I really do. But I'm going to put Hulk over.
He should have fought Honky. That would have been a brilliant match. The guitar versus the snooker cube. What a fantasy card. But if you have any obscure 80s UK sports stars that you would wish and dream to see go up against the rock and wrestling age of WWF, let us know again on our Twitter page, which is @BCCPod, or our website, which is bettercallcreative.com, or on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/BCCPod. Wrestlemania season is over once again, folks, and we are going to be rounding out the month of April. We are checking out who is under the hood. Who's under the hood? It is.
It's me, Jonathan.
It's me. It was Dennis Taylor. All along, bastard. We are going to find out who is the higher power of the Ministry of Darkness. Are we excited for a bit of attitude nonsense?
Yeah, we ain't really done a lot of attitude.
No.
That's going to be a very big change of pace from this.
Oh,
It's going to
I think I might need a substitute. I need to take me mate Scotty.
13 years after this, and my oh my, how the product has changed. We're going to be heading to
Where's Bundy?
We're going to be. He was fighting heroes of wrestling around then.
Oh, Jesus Christ, he wasn't wrong.
We'll see you soon, Bundy. But, yes, we will be heading to the Attitude Era to find out who the higher power is. So join us then to find out with us. That leaves me with Mr. C, Sam Chance.
Goodbye.
And the fridge himself, Jack Chansey.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, folks.
When I was just a boy, everybody told me what I should